What's up, everybody? Wobby, how you doing? Brendan, Theo, what's up? So we get some, we're getting some new Borderlands trailers today. I also want to go through all there are a bunch of creators got to play it last week, and I want to go through all the reviews and watch stuff. I haven't really seen too much other than like the tweets that people were putting out. And then if you watch on the Twitch side, there should be an exclusive Twitch badge that you get for watching 30 minutes or more on the Twitch side. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. We're gonna watch IGN's review first. Yo, what's up, Chief? Blue Flash Caden? How are we doing, friends? Oh, I should put drops in the Twitch title. Can someone on the Twitch side please confirm that drops are active for my stream? They should be. But they make it like not super easy for me. Oh, yep. Okay, we're good. I see it actually. So we're good. All right, everybody. Yeah, so Borderlands FanFest is today, which is like a thing that they do. Borderlands. Yes. Okay, so I want to make sure I have this pulled up. There's going to be a new story trailer, and then last week, if you guys missed it, a bunch of creators got to go out to Gearbox in... Where's Gearbox at? LA? Santa Monica? Gearbox HQ. Oh, it's in Texas. Well, then they got to go to Texas and play a lot of Borderlands. So we have quite a few point of views that I'm very excited to check out. Streamer's gonna be playing it today. Nice. Yo, what's up, Clean? What if they shadow drop Borderlands 4 today? It's not gonna happen, but that'd be sick. Thanks for the sub. I'm a huge fan of the Borderlands franchise. Have been since before Destiny, long before Destiny, actually. Borderlands 2, of course, my favorite. Borderlands 3, I never played anything past vanilla. Tiny Tina's, I played a ton on stream. Yeah, so this just seems like a nice return to form, which I'm really excited for. Tech Artist, what's up? You never played a Borderlands, Clean? Uh-oh. Oh, no. They're so much fun. So this is IGN's review, and I believe this was done by Travis, my good friend Travis. Yep. So I'm excited to see what he has to say. This is a 10-minute review, and then we can check out some like Killer 6 videos and some of the other big YouTubers. So if you have a favorite Borderlands YouTuber, let me know what you want me to check out. But yeah. Amy, what's up?
With action.
Oh, how's the audio here?
Packed gunplay and innumerable
Is that too loud or is it good?
Badass guns to loot and some of the most crass humor in gaming. The Borderlands games have held a special
I just want to say, like, right off the bat, I love how they have returned to more of a Borderlands 1 art style, where it's more brown and gray. I think it is so... I think Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 are very different in terms of art styles. Borderlands 1 is just so unique. Very Mad Max feeling, very post-apocalyptic. Almost has like the Mexico filter, you know. And then Borderlands 2 just like popped saturation, and I feel like for later games kind of took that too far. It seems like in this game we're gonna get a really cool stark contrast between areas that look very Borderlands 1-y like this, and then like future areas that have very cyberpunky feels that have the coloring more akin to Borderlands 2, which I think is cool. And the cell shading looks way better in this game than it did in Borderlands 3, in my opinion. The video is very quiet. Is it? Oh, yeah. I can turn it up.
All right, how's this? 2009.
Too quiet or
But
good?
it's also a series that practically invented the looter-shooter genre, then saw itself...
How is that? How is that? You see that? They added a toggleable radar. Yeah, so that's one thing we'll talk about. Essentially, Borderlands games have gone back and forth. I think Borderlands 1 just had a compass. Borderlands 2 had like a full mini-map. People in Borderlands 4, they were just going to do this compass thing that you see at the top of the screen. There's been a lot of complaints, and they have already developed a mini-map. Like, pre-fucking any... Like, so pre-development, it's not even funny. Yo, Shady Architect, what's up? It's good? Okay, awesome. It is so... It's very refreshing because I think one thing that from the outside looking in, before Destiny, I was a huge Borderlands fan. That was by far my most time played in a video game was Borderlands 1 and 2 pre-Destiny. But ever since I got into Destiny 9 years ago, it's been, I'll dip in and out of the franchise. In my opinion, kind of from more of an outside view, it seemed like for pre-sequel Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's specifically, it seems like so much of like the community input was just kind of ignored. Like I feel like so much of those games ended up going in directions that people weren't really asking for, or in directions that directly went against what made like Borderlands 2 great. So, not having raid bosses at launch of Borderlands 3, not having farmable bosses in pre-sequel, not having really an end game at all in Tiny Tina's, for instance, these sorts of things. And so it's nice seeing that finally Gearbox is like, you know what, fuck it. We're putting everything that people love into this game. And they are so intent on listening to feedback that they've already added the minimap pre-launch. Fucking unbelievable. Something that you don't really see nowadays. Sorry, this shirt is not... Look at the color of this shirt. I don't know why this shit's green screening. 1 second. Bruh, this is light blue. This is the LA shirt. The Guardians for LA that you could donate to LA through Bungie. This was like... Why? This is tan. Why is it fucking green screening? Anyways. So... I didn't expect that. If it wasn't 90 degrees outside, I would put on a fucking hoodie, but here we go. It launches on September 12th. So you got that in the mail yesterday. It's a nice shirt, but it green screens. For someone playing Destiny since initial release, should I play Borderlands 4 if I've not played any of the previous ones? Borderlands 4 is so interesting. The Borderlands series is so interesting. Borderlands is essentially like Destiny if it wasn't a live service game, and if it Borderlands has more of a traditional style where they just release like just expansions. There's no like seasonal content. Is there going to be seasonal content in Borderlands 4? Typically, Borderlands games do not have like a live service model. It's like, hey, you get a couple DLCs, and then that's sort of it. Usually 1 year of content post-launch. I don't know what their plan is for Borderlands 4, to be completely honest. Borderlands, in my opinion, does a much better job of being a looter shooter when it's playing into its strengths than Destiny does. Destiny is a lot more than what Borderlands is. Destiny is an MMO. Destiny, has a lot more of those kind of, like multiplayer, large scale aspects to it. There's like raid boss things in Borderlands are way scaled back. There's no PvP. There's no social areas. The most people you'll ever interact with at a time is 3 additional players to you. So this is much closer to like Diablo almost, I would say. So I always think about it like, okay, it's Destiny if there was no massive like multiplayer online gameplay, and if Destiny like truly focused on like the farming and like the grinding aspects and build crafting aspects of the looter shooter genre. And it wasn't a live service game. So Borderlands is an actual looter shooter. Destiny is an MMO shooter. Yeah, exactly. And Borderlands kind of defined and created the first person looter shooter genre anyways. Like they really, they're the reason Destiny would not exist without Borderlands 1. What about the grind aspect? I cannot do grinding anymore. Borderlands, the same thing as every looter shooter. You can beat the game. Borderlands is very interesting because you beat the game and then you can do the whole game on a harder difficulty. And it generally there ends up being 3 or 4 playthroughs of the campaign after all the DLC comes out. So usually it's like the game launches and there's a base difficulty and then there's like an ultra difficulty, and then like a couple DLCs later they'll add a third one, and then sometimes I think they'll add a fourth one. But it's the same thing as every looter shooter where, look, you can just play the game once and then you can be done and that's totally fine. But if you really want to get into like raid bosses or ultimate build crafting, just like Diablo, there are things to just grind. You can grind for perfect legendaries. I don't know if pearlescents are going to be in this game. I hope they are, imagine if Destiny had a rarity above exotic. Some Borderlands games have that, not in a while, but those have existed. And it's like, you have to like fucking farm for those, not as rare as like, what are they called? Mythics in Diablo. Nothing like that, but still pretty rare. But Borderlands is a genre, or is a game that truly is a looter shooter where it is exactly as grindy as you want it to be. Sort of what I think Bungie's doing with the new Portal system and the tier 5 system is emulating this a lot more, where it's like, hey, you can play most of the game and just do it on lower difficulties, and that's totally fine. You can experience most of what the game has to offer. But for people who really want to get lost in this world and want perfect guns and want perfect ability splits and all of that stuff, you have to fucking farm for it. Weren't pearls originally just legendaries with specific parts? I don't really remember. I didn't play Borderlands 1 enough to recall that, but in Borderlands 2, they were just different. They had like different stuff. They were their own guns. And then you had Seraphs in Borderlands 2, which were sick as well. Hammy says, I do like some of the Destiny-inspired aspects of Borderlands 4. I've heard the glide's incredibly smooth and the Sparrow's pretty neat, and we literally got Celestial Fire for Flak in Borderlands 3. Yeah, that's true. There's so much like shared DNA between these two franchises. It's just that Borderlands leans way more into like, you can just be as powerful as you want, really, because there's no multiplayer, or there's very limited multiplayer, and they just want you to have a good time. It is pretty rare for like an uber busted build in Borderlands to get nerfed. It does happen. I think the most infamous example of this is Zero getting nerfed in Borderlands 2, so Boar didn't work as well. But it's not like in Borderlands, the idea is just to become broken. Whereas in Destiny, they have to care a lot more about that balance. So I do like that they're bringing back the grind for legendaries, but I hope it's not too overtuned where legends are as rare as pearls. I don't think that'll happen. Gearbox did tease another tier above legendary come back. Like, I fucking hope so.
Fall behind the curve as a renaissance of RPG-infused multiplayer shooters dominated the space. With Borderlands 4, the team at Gearbox seems...
Another thing that I want everyone to pay attention to, I think, so Borderlands has always had some of the best particle effects in the fucking world. Like, Gearbox's they make everything do particle bullshit, but in a way that feels so good. I think Borderlands 2 is one of the best looking, like, particle, like, you shoot the gun and there's 4 different colors coming out and enemies have colors coming out, and it's just like, it always looks really good. It looks incredibly good in this game. And a lot of it stands out really well against the environment. I think it looks really good.
Eager to take some big swings in hope of reclaiming the throne of firearms and shell casings they themselves built. And whether it's the greatly improved shooting mechanics, an interesting revamp to RPG mechanics, an entirely fresh setting, a slew of new characters, or a more grounded tone in its story, the handful of hours I played left me fairly confident that I will find myself pulled back into this one.
Oh, and the character screens for Borderlands are awesome.
Wonderfully weird.
Every major boss and character gets introduced like this, and they have like awesome taglines. Rush, he absolutely has you. I love these screens. We used to go through Borderlands 2. So I grew up without internet, like without reliable internet, let's say. And me and my, like, before I could play Destiny, before I got internet, before Destiny was ever a thing, we would play Borderlands 2 LAN. So me and my brother would have an Xbox. We had a 50-foot Ethernet cord, and we would either LAN to each other, or we'd have like a intranet system running in our house, so we could all LAN together on Xbox 360. And we would just a lot of times run through Borderlands campaigns, and like we would just like see who could remember more and more of the boss title cards. 9 toes. He also has 3 balls. That's right.
World of psychopaths and extremely irritating robots. There's a whole heck of a lot of novel things Borderlands 4 tries, but the
Look at the minimap. Borderlands minimaps, I believe, are always, they have traditionally always been just blue. I think, am I wrong there? Borderlands 2 map. Yeah, they usually look like this. Like if you pull up a Borderlands map, it'll look like this. You know, very Call of Duty minimap style. This looks fucking awesome. This looks like, just great. It looks really fucking good.
Lot of novel things Borderlands 4 tries, but the first thing that immediately jumped out at me was the focus on movement. I counted no fewer than 5 additional ways to
Movement tech! I want you guys to know, any way we can break the movement system, shatter skating, well skating, whatever, I got you, okay? We're making videos for all of the movement tech, because in a game like this, it's so important.
Keep your Vault Hunter.
I don't know why people say the UI sucks. I think this UI looks great. It's very Borderlands 1. It's very clean. I think compared to a lot of games today, this is super simple. I think they could actually do away with some of it. Like, I think they could make it a little more simple. Like, if you look at here, the guns, you can see all your guns. Oh, can you? Yeah, you can see all the guns. I would probably get rid of that, but other than that, like, it's super clean. I like it a lot.
While hunting for treasure and blasting wild animals, including
movement tech is everything in
jumping,
games. That's exactly
gliding
right.
through the air, dashing from side to side, pulling yourself around with a grappling hook, and even swimming, which is especially great because dying every time one of my toes got wet was pretty annoying in the previous games. Each
Take
of
notes,
these traversal
Destiny.
options added an interesting dimension to navigating arenas while sniping mercenaries and lobbing explosives in the faces of the local fauna, and also went a long way to speeding up how quickly I could close distance between me and the baddies in my path. That was a welcome change, because I'd always found myself pretty frustrated by how slowly I move in old Borderlands entries.
Here come the fireworks!
If there's anything worrisome about all these extra ways to get around, it's that there are so many of them I often forgot to use them. Being able to double jump, glide, and grapple hook across a room all in the same motion honestly feels like too much power. At least in the hands
that
of a
won't be an
rookie
issue
like
for me.
who only had a few hours to familiarize myself with it all. By the end of the demo, though, I felt a lot better about my ability to keep myself in motion while bringing my arsenal to bear upon swarms of monsters. But it definitely
this seems like
it'll
it's
take some getting
definitely,
used to.
this movement system 100% favors
Of course,
mouse and
it
keyboard,
wouldn't
by
be
the
a
way.
Borderlands
Just based
game
off
without
of
the promise of a bottomless cache
what
of
I'm
weapons
seeing.
to discover, each designed to inject a little anarchy into
This
combat.
is something that
While
also Destiny has never been able to capture. The
weapons to
feeling of opening a Borderlands chest,
discover each
even when it's shit loot, is already better than 98% of looting experiences in Destiny. This, it looks great. It makes your brain feel good.
designed to inject
When
a
you get
little
a bunch of blue engrams on the ground in Destiny, it fucking sucks. No one likes it. If you get a bunch of greens in chests in Borderlands, no one cares because it doesn't go to your inventory.
anarchy into combat. While I only got a small sampling of what's in store, there honestly weren't a ton of things I wasn't expecting, even with the additional weapon manufacturers introducing some new stuff. One of the new gun makers, Ripper, seemed to have a lot in common with the COV weapons from Borderlands 3, as they need to spin up before they can be fired, but then pile on a heaping helping of lead into enemies. While Daedalus reminded me a lot of the doll.
No, I
weapons
think
that
all the
offer
menus look really
multiple
clean.
ammo
I'm
types
not
to switch between. The only distinct new type I got to try out was called the Order, which have an alternate firing mode, like a pistol I found that could create gravity wells instead of shooting normal bullets. Most of what I played was from pretty early in the campaign, and I only found a single
It's
legendary
weird that
weapon
this
during
clip,
my
this clip
travels.
has worse
So it's
quality. What is
fairly
that? I wonder if he had to borrow this from somebody.
likely there are more surprises I haven't seen, but at least on the surface, I wasn't too shocked with what I found in that regard.
Make room for the boom!
What seems significantly more distinct are the new build crafting options, including a healing item called a rep kit that can be used in addition to the usual pickups you find in chests and pick off the sorry corpses of your slain foes. These add an interesting dimension to defining your build, as you could just play it safe and equip the item that offers the most healing with the shortest cooldown, but bolder Vault Hunters might instead favor one that intentionally offers lesser healing benefits to instead grant some other effect every time the item is used. For example, I found one that caused a large explosion of cryo to explode around me whenever I used it, versus another that restored significantly more health
Oh,
and
wow.
could be used
Okay, so
twice
these are,
before
like,
it needed to be
super
cooled down. Depending on
different
how
from
risky
each
you
other.
want to play it or the specific
I
strategy
thought they were
behind
all
your
healing,
build,
but
I could see this opening up a lot of doors for clever min-maxers to do some pretty fun stuff. Each Borderlands has a different roster of Vault Hunters to play.
That's my main right
and
there.
this
I don't even
entry
give a
is
fuck,
no
bro.
different. I got the chance to try
the game,
out
it
Vex,
looks
the
beautiful.
magical
I think
siren whose main
the
focus
combination of Borderlands, like, kind of dull colors on top of some of that extra saturation from Borderlands 2 for, like, the greens and stuff to stand out. It just looks so good, man.
at least with my setup, was in summoning
You should also watch Jolt's Vex Tree video. Okay.
companions.
Yeah, I'll go
to help me
through.
fight off
We'll watch a lot
mobs.
of
And
gameplay.
Rafa,
I do
a
want to
soldier
watch
who had a
a
bunch
lot
of
of
high-tech
reviews.
gadgets to unload onto anyone stupid enough to
I
get
think
in
the
his way,
FanFest
including
starts in
some
30 minutes
melee
as well.
blades that made short work of anyone within arm's reach, or some shoulder-mounted cannons that automatically helped me lather folks in lead. It's always hard to tell just how awesome each of these bona fide badasses is going to be after just a few hours, but I was already very much heartened by the number of interesting options to pick from.
Yes,
and I already felt
bro.
myself transforming into an arm-to-the-teeth instrument of death, even as low-leveled as I was. Also, some of the perks I saw on those trees looked downright spicy, like the ability to disconnect Rafa's shoulder-mounted turrets to convert them into a stationary battle station. So consider me pretty hyped to try out a late-game build.
Which character has the most movement tech?
Another interesting change coming with
Who's like
Borderlands 4 is
who's like the Zero or the Lilith of this game? Do we know yet? Were they allowed to show the entire skill trees? Necromancer from Dead Space with the blades. They got fucking Isaac Clarke up in Borderlands 4, bro. Rafa, to our knowledge. Okay. I saw some Reddit investigative work say that Borderlands 4 is like 34 square kilometers. Oh, what the fuck? I think, Aoli, I think they, confirmed that there are I think they say multiple raid bosses in the game, right? Am I wrong there? Did I make that up? Only skill trees we saw for Rafa and Vex. Okay. Yeah, if Rafa's the movement guy... Because the thing with Borderlands is you always have to plan, the way I do, is like, okay, maybe I will enjoy his skill tree as much in the game, but you always have to have a farming character, right? And I like that character to be the first one I do. So, the Borderlands 4 map is bigger than Skyrim's map. What the fuck, bro? Jesus Christ.
the new, clearly darker setting and story. Taking place on a new world called Kairos, the world has been dominated by an oppressive, immortal being known as the Timekeeper, who controls the population using cybernetic implants. But naturally, the actions of the Vault Keepers in recent Borderlands entries, which I won't spoil here, has ruined the perfect, unjust order on Kairos, throwing the place into chaos and opening the door for you and your friends to shoot everything in the face and score some sweet loot. The change in tone is pretty clear, and even though you've still got the usual cheeky characters, sexual innuendos, and over-the-top gore, there's also quite a bit of darkness and the beginnings of what seems to be a significantly more grounded story in play, which will hopefully wash away some of the shadow.
Yes, bro. Yes. Are you serious? The Cube will be the first real competition for Destiny. If that game has a real endgame, it'll be nuts. Look, Sparky, I'm glad you're excited for things. But we have had like a 45-second trailer for the Cube and nothing else. I have seen no information there to get me excited because I refuse to get excited off of like I said, like a minute-long trailer. You know what I mean? It has like a one-sentence descriptor on stuff. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? I think it seems like a psyop. It's an industry plant, bro. I don't know. I will keep my eyes out for more information. I'm excited to learn more, but I think like saying something is Destiny competition based off of a 1-minute trailers, especially after, you know, all the companies that have tried and failed. I'm gonna like be very much reserved there. Yes, but Atomic Heart was great. I think the reviews on Atomic Heart are pretty mid, no? What's the rating on Atomic Heart on Steam? Oh, actually very positive. I thought it was not received that well, but I might be thinking of something else. Like I said, excited to hear more, but until I get more than a minute trailer, I am reserving any excitement there. Yo, Kira, thank you for the sub. Hey, once again, if you guys are watching this, if you watch for 30 minutes over on Twitch, you can get an exclusive Borderlands badge, like next to your name in chat.
Shallowness found in Borderlands 3, specifically where the antagonists are concerned.
We'll see who's laughing when I unleash my secret weapon.
It's also worth noting the intentional shift away from Pandora to focus on this new world. This combined with the fact that a lot of the cast is entirely new, at least in the sections I played, makes things feel a bit like a soft reboot.
That did feel
It gives
very
a fresh start
callous.
to tell new
You're
stories
right.
compared to prior games that have mostly leaned pretty heavily on the locations and characters established in their predecessors. I'm all for this shift, honestly, because although Borderlands
this game
was
looks
my
so
addiction
fucking
for
good,
years,
man.
it's also pretty clearly been on its back foot as
Like,
a series,
visually.
as the looter shooter space.
It's just like
has both evolved
look here. Everything is muted, right? The buildings are muted. Lots of browns. A lot of your guns are muted. But then you have like the green, just the green and the red specifically have just had their saturation like cranked. So instead of like Borderlands 2 where everything had cranked saturation, it's just like it sets so much difference in the environment. I think it looks so good.
more crowded.
And the purple, I guess that's technically the reds, but like the green and reds are just like, and then everything else is super muted on the saturation. And
Especially
I
where its
love that. I
ongoing
think it
live
looks
service
so
features
good.
are concerned. To be clear, I don't want to see Borderlands chase the games as a service model and fundamentally change what it is, but it's nice to see that Gearbox seems willing to take some sizable risks in pursuit.
I've never played a Borderlands. What's the genuine, or what's the selling point? It is Destiny, but way more looter shooter and way less MMO. I will defend to the death that the Desert Wasteland tone of Borderlands 1 was consistently better than anything else in the series. In terms of visuals, I am inclined to agree. I like a lot of like the environmental diversity more in like Borderlands 2 or even Tiny Tina's. But I like for the tone, like when you get to like Borderlands 3 or Tiny Tina's, everything was just so bright in like, you know, just so bright. Everything kind of got lost in the sauce. In this way, I think it makes certain aspects of the game stick out so much more. The guns, the abilities, that sort of thing stick out in a way that is really visually interesting to me, personally.
of evolving the series, because I genuinely think it needs to do so if it wants to keep the attention of longtime fans like myself. That's not to say there isn't a ton of good, old-fashioned goodness inside Borderlands 4. Quite the opposite. I still spent ludicrous amounts of time dabbing on loads of enemies who shouted expletives at me after running out of darkened spawn points, watched colorful loot explode out of enemies like fireworks, and ran dog-like enemies over with my vehicle, which is now very awesomely available to be summoned anywhere on the map rather than having to be picked up at a designated spawn point. Thank God. There are also perilous vaults to be raided and massive badass bosses to take down in the name of loot, XP, and bragging rights, which I unfortunately can't show you today because of some unfortunate restrictions on what I'm allowed to showcase at this time. But I can say that the
Bro, why are you using a corrosive weapon against a blue shield? What are you doing, Travis?
Is perhaps the most mechanics heavy and interesting enemy I've encountered in Borderlands. And if it's at all representative of the level of quality we can expect from Borderlands 4, then we're in for quite a treat. After several hours dipping my toes...
By the way, to note, this build is 1 month old. Can't wait to Sparrowfly in Borderlands 4. That's what I'm talking about.
Into what is
That's
sure
what I'm
to be a
talking
massive
about.
looter shooter, I'm much more optimistic about Borderlands 4's odds of recapturing my affections after years
Didn't some developers from Bungie go to Gearbox? I have literally no idea. I'm sure, I mean, with how big Gearbox is and how big Destiny is and like what the turnover rate is within the industry, I would be shocked if no one who had worked at Bungie works at Gearbox and vice versa, but I have no idea.
Part. Stay tuned in the coming days when I'm allowed to show off some later game footage.
If Marathon would have come out next to this, it would have literally been dead. They are entirely different fucking audiences though. I wouldn't say that at all. It's like maybe I'll eat my words on this. Borderlands is big for this genre, but it's not a PvP game. You know what I mean? It's not getting the Call of Duty mains. It's not getting the Fortnite mains. It's not getting the Apex mains. This exists in its own little, genre audience of people.
And a boss fight that I took down a number of times in an effort to grind out some unique weapons. Old habits die hard, I guess. What questions do you have about Borderlands 4?
Oh, that's
we'll
it!
do a follow-up video soon based on the questions you leave in the comments below. And for more on the...
Oh, Travis, I need way more than that. Okay, let's see Jolts' review.
So you want to hear?
Yes, let's go. 15 minutes of content. Perfect. Look how fucking good this looks.
Hear my
dude.
thoughts
Jesus.
about Borderlands 4? Well, here it is.
How do you get the badge? If you just watch for 30 minutes, you get the badge. Hell yeah, Vigilant. Let's go.
First off, I do want to give a big thanks to 2K for sponsoring this video. They allowed me to play the game early. Now, I do want to mention that this does not change my opinion about the game, and I will be as transparent and honest in this video as possible.
Why does that shit work for him? Are you serious?
Alright, so for the Borderlands...
Wait. Are the comments calling him a paid shill? Not a single shill comment, bro! Are you serious? And the way he worded that, I don't know this for sure, but this fact he said that they sponsored this video, that wording seems like he might have got paid extra to make this video. When we went and played Marathon, there was no requirement to make content on it, dude. Is it because the game is good? It's popularly accepted as being like peak? Is that why he's not called a shill? Are you kidding me? Bog, what's up? Someone on the Borderlands 4 subreddit did a compilation of all the sources you'd like to see a list from all 32. Yes, could you at me that? Is it just on the Borderlands 4 subreddit? If it's near to the top, I can find it.
In this video, they allowed me to play the game early. Now, I do want to mention that this does not change my opinion about the game.
Yeah, we will be reacting. I won't be home on Tuesday for the Bungie stream, but we'll be rewatching and breaking it down when I get home at like 4:30 Eastern on Tuesday.
and I will be as transparent and honest in this video as possible. All right, so for the Borderlands 4
I'm gonna start saying that for every marathon video, dog. If that's all it takes, shit, bro.
we were able to play somewhat early game, and the choices we were given is to play either Rafa or Vex. For this video, I'm going to be focusing on Rafa because that's the character I chose, and we'll get to that in a bit, but just know that Rafa is a lot of fun. First off, let's talk about the loading speed of the game. I am genuinely impressed. Look at this, I'm at the main menu, and within 2 seconds, I am in the game. That is insanely fast. We're talking about like Borderlands.
This new you screen is way this is giving Doctor Who. That's way cooler than 1 second. Borderlands 2 respawn screen animation. Does anyone just have the this might have it. So this is Borderlands 1. Oh, wait. Bro, why is this video at like negative 28 bitrate? Okay, here's Borderlands 2. Very, very much better.
Load speed. This really caught me off guard.
That's loading screen though? No, it'll be the same though. It's the same. Or I imagine it'll be the same.
I wonder how they pulled this off on Unreal Engine 5. But yeah, they did it. The load speed's great, and I am super duper happy to see that. Now, I will mention there is a lengthy 6 to 7 second warp tunnel, and this is one of the longest warp tunnels we've ever had in a Borderlands game. So I'm assuming a lot of the loading the world is happening during this animation. So factoring in the warp tunnel, we're looking at about 8 seconds, which is still way faster than Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Remember, this is a massive world we're loading, so this time frame is okay for me. All right, so the world. I will say it is beautifully done. All locations feel different, they're very vibrant, and in this case, we have a grassland. So there is going to be a lot of green for this map. Now, we were given...
If you blindfolded me, and you just shuffled around videos, and you played me a Jolts video and a Sneaky Beaver video, I wouldn't be able to tell you who's who. I mean that's a compliment. I like the way they both
play the demo. So we're just gonna go through the footage and let you know how I felt as I took on the content. For the first 7 minutes, I was going through the UI. I
like the pacing a lot.
Adjusting sensitivity, you know, just getting a feel for the controls and whatnot. Just know there is a lot of button combinations that need to be learned, so don't judge me too hard when it comes to the first combat encounter. Like, having all the knowledge from Borderlands 1, 2, 3, the pre-sequel, all the games, I will just say all that knowledge is kind of thrown out the window when it comes to Borderlands 4. There are so many new controls and so many new mechanics that you have to sort of relearn or just learn them. So it's not going to feel 100% natural when you first play the game. Anyways, finally to the gameplay, I experienced gliding for the first time and dashing. You probably already know about this and have seen it in the trailer, but it feels good. When it comes to any extra movement options, I'm all for it.
Movement tech, baby!
I saw a big open cave and I really wanted to check it out, but unfortunately, we had a limited playtime on this demo, so I had to make sure I got work done. So I chose not to veer off the story path.
See, like, look at this tree. Look at the shell. Look at the cell shading of this foliage. It is so thick. It is so thick. It looks so good. It gives it such a good, like, depth. Helps it stand out from the environment. That looks, like, phenomenal, dude.
Who knows? There could have been a surprise world boss in there, or, like, red
Yeah,
trash.
same with the buildings, too. Like, fuck,
I'm so sad
man. That looks so good.
Didn't have time to check it out. All right, now we check out our action skill. This is going to be the arc blades. Keep in mind, we're only level 5, so we don't have any, like, augments or anything to slap on this just yet. So in its most basic form, you just have a dash attack and a slice attack. And in the middle, you can see a bar depleting. That is your duration, obviously. Since I wasn't in combat, I chose to end it early by using the action skill button again. And you might notice we have a HUD on our screen. This is known as overdrive and is Rafa's trait. So by default, this is a passive that you will always have.
Scarrow going on and on about the foliage. What a shill on God,
and what this is when you activate your action skill or end your action skill, you have bonus damage and movement speed. Quite nice. Up ahead, I did my first combat encounter, and I saw you could grapple this thing on the side, this propane tank. So I picked it up and threw it, and it does a decent chunk of damage for early game. Then we get into the combat, and I get absolutely shredded. Remember, there's a lot of new controls. I'm using a mouse and keyboard I'm not familiar with. Everything felt different for me, and it took a little bit of, like, getting used to. Also, in my personal opinion, and also the opinions of other people who played this demo, this is the hardest Borderlands to date. Like, you will get wrecked in combat, and like, healing is more of a priority than ever. And we're early game. This game is hard. Now, I do like a challenge, but it is possible over the course of time I will get better at the game.
I mean, he's standing right in the middle of 20 enemies.
Also, I want to mention for this, I'm not going to spoil the story stuff, but I just want to talk about the actual gameplay. So for those who were concerned about that, no worry. During all that chaos in the combat, I never thought to use a rev kit. So we have a new bind for that. I pressed the T button on the keyboard and I was able to get my HP back. At this point, I was kind of wondering where to go. I looked at my compass, I didn't see any markers, so I just followed the road. And I think it's a good
I don't know.
time to
I'm
talk
gonna
about the
reserve
compass
judgment
system.
for that one.
At first, I was like, okay, I can probably get used to it, but I would prefer a minimap. But after playing this demo, I really noticed, like, dang, without a minimap, I am so lost. If you look at the compass right now, there is so many icons cluttered in one area.
I'm a huge compass hater. Put me in camp compass hater for sure. Oh, Borderlands is live. 1 second. We're gonna be. We'll switch over to
the game.
the Borderlands
I wasn't sure what to
announcement
follow
stuff
or where to
once
go.
we
So I found myself
once it
opening
goes
the giant map a lot to look at where I need to go. And even with that, I still got lost quite a few times. It usually happens when there's a lot of like going up and going down. But yeah, having no minimap really does make it a little bit more difficult to traverse around. Now I know what some of you are thinking, why not pop up Echo 4 and like, you know, follow him. I'm gonna be honest, I was so immersed into the gameplay that I kind of forgot he existed. So I don't use him until much later on. Down below, I find an alternate path and find my first vault symbol.
Ooh.
And vault symbols are way better in this game. They actually reward you. When I find this one, you can see I acquire 5 of these things, and these things are actually used to upgrade your SDUs. So it seems like collectibles in the world are going to reward you with these SDU points, and that is how you can upgrade your SDUs. And I did
you
notice
already
in
know
this
there's
demo
going to be
that
guides
they
for
did tone
those.
back the visual
I got you.
quite a bit. A lot of things in the trailer had a ton of flashiness to it, but upon repeating those things for myself, they were definitely way toned back. Good deal, that's a plus. Alright, so we passed by this blinking blue thing. I had no idea what it was at the time, but these are actually your save stations. So if you die, you respawn right there. Also, the radius for hitting these things is large. You can trip a save station from really far away. That is a very nice addition. Up ahead, I find a bunch of red dots, so I figured, you know what? Let's do a little more combat. But before I do swap over to a new action skill known as Apophis Lance. And that is going to be that gun zerg thing we've seen in the trailer, which is your left-handed gun. And I will be completely honest about this, I didn't really feel this action skill that much. Like, we are early game and don't really have any augments we can slap on it to make it any more different or better. But you guys know me, I've never been a huge fan of like charge, Malawan stuff in BL3. And that is what this action skill kind of reminded me of. You charge up and release shock damage. And I guess it's a good time to talk about the modifiers on enemies. As an extreme hater of modifiers from Borderlands 3, the modifiers in this game really aren't that bad. They are way more like ARPG, and they don't really drastically.
He's also a really early game. I imagine a lot more enemies will happen.
They don't make you suffer like the Mayhem modifiers did in BL3. On my way back, I found a body of water, so I figured, you know what? Let's check out the swimming mechanic. Turns out swimming seems to be only on the surface. You can't dive under, so it's only going to be a way of getting around. I'm a little bit sad about that, but I guess it makes sense. I followed the compass to the next objective, and you might notice this giant blue barrier around the area. This is an end of world general waypoint. Basically, whatever needs to be done for the mission happens within this circle. I do think that's a pretty good addition. I find my second enemy with a modifier known as shielded, and it just gives him a second shield bar. Good challenge, I like it. Later on, I find a red chest sitting in the road and open it up. Right away, I saw Jacobs, and I'm a huge fan of Jacobs, so I'm going to be doing Jacobs.
He is playing.
Also, I see
watch
a
him
throwing
move.
knife for the first time.
He's moving like he's playing on controller.
So throwing knives are going to be part of ordnance,
Like,
which
watch
is
him
your
aim.
heavy weapon grenade damage slot. And the throwing knives are considered grenade damage, ordnance damage. It is a little bit weird to think about, but some throwing knives can blow up like grenades, and just think of them like grenades, pretty much. Now I get to experience throwing knives, and oh, they feel so good.
Okay, that's kind of.
You do have to line it up extremely accurately. You can't just like randomly throw it unless you get the homing modifier on it. But yeah, they feel really good, and I'm glad we have an extra
that last clip
ranged
where he
option
was
for
in
melee
fight,
bolts.
he was
And I
aiming
can only
like he
imagine
was
how
on
crazy they
controller.
become if you
It
get
was
a
very
legendary
jerky.
version, or heck, even a purple version. They could be pretty good. Then I ran into another bad A enemy. Sorry, I don't cuss on my channel. Bad A, it's what I'm gonna call it. And I did notice they're extremely plentiful for this session. I was told that the difficulty was tuned up a little bit higher than usual to, you know, give us content creators a harder challenge. I will say I got my butt kicked quite a few times. And like I said before, this is definitely the hardest Borderlands I've ever played.
Yeah, there's
for the first
stims.
time. However, as a veteran,
but they
I do
they
like the
can do
challenge.
different stuff.
Unfortunately, I couldn't stop and look at gear for too long because, again, we had the limited playtime on the session. But as you may know, items have so many combinations they can roll for passives. And this rev kit happened to have, if you use it, you get bonus reload speed for a short time. Very cool. And yeah, going back to the compass system, I see that the objective is forward, but I can't walk through a wall, obviously. So I have to open the big map and figure out where to go. It was at this point I'm like, oh dude, I forgot about Echo 4. So I look at my options and figure out, okay, echolocation is the Z button. I click it.
Ooh,
and then
that's a gross default
Now,
bind.
Echo 4 only stays off for about like 5-6 seconds. And then after that, he will despawn and you have to click the button again. It's not a big deal. It's very easy to click the button again. And now I have an idea.
The license
of where I
part
need to
system
go.
is nuts and the weapons still retain their heart. Who does a good breakdown of that system?
Now I hit my first level up and it was time to spec my scope.
I don't know if it's like technically sponsored or if he just got flown out. I don't, because he said it was a sponsored video at the beginning, but
I decided to go for more gun and melee damage because I kind of need that.
but I don't know if that's just because he got flown out or if he actually got paid to make it. I don't know. Moxie? All right, I'll check out Moxie.
And I also want to mention, I would love to check out the other trees and stuff, but unfortunately for the demo, we cannot respec our character. So we were stuck with what we had and had to go with it. So yeah, I'm back on the arc knives. I just find them to be the most fun and love melee. And now is a perfect time to talk about the arc knives. So arc knives are extremely fun, spammable, and the hit detection on them is extremely generous. I can completely miss the enemy on my side visually, but the arc knives will still connect and it feels pretty good. I guess as a Borderlands 2 fan, I love Zero's execute skill where you like dash at the enemy when you do melee. And the arc knives allow you to do that back to back, you know, the dash attack. So it really does give that vibe and makes melee feel a lot better for this game. As for the random wacky weapons,
this is one thing that Destiny does really well is sword tracking, where you can actually like go up, it'll pull you up to an enemy. That wasn't doing that. And even if you're still hitting the enemy, if you're like falling, it feels really bad. I'm a little skeptical just on how that looked. It didn't make my brain feel good.
I honestly
Yo, Rithius, thank you for gifting a sub. Appreciate you. Everything looks so tanky. That is really interesting to me as well.
didn't stop and like read what they do too much.
Borderlands, I've got the stream up, says they started
But I will
14
say
minutes.
every gun felt
They've got a
completely
countdown
different,
going on
even
there.
if it was the same manufacturer.
This is Jolt's, dude.
So the gunplay felt really good and quite diverse. Like even more diverse than Borderlands 3. There is a lot to it. For the Borderlands 2 fans, I will throw this in here. No infinite vertical melee.
See,
all good though, because we
yeah.
have throwing knives. Right after, I died. So we get to watch the respawn animation. This respawn animation is the longest one in the franchise so far. From fully bleeding out to completely having control of your character again, it takes about 20 seconds.
Oh!
Yeah, that's pretty long, and I'm really hoping that gets changed before release.
No! 20 seconds on the respawn! What is this, a fucking jump puzzle in the middle of a raid, bro?
We're pushing for fast-paced gameplay, but this really does kill the pacing.
Jesus!
I do understand that bleeding out is a punishment, you know, you should play better and not die in the first place. But being out of the action for 20 full seconds is a pace killer. I hope they speed it up and make it a little bit faster.
L.
Then we come
That's
up
the
on
first,
some
like, hard L I've seen
machines.
for Borderlands 4.
You might have noticed in the old trailer there was an item floating on the side of it. That is your item of the day, so you can actually buy it without going into the vendor.
That's cool.
I do like
That's
that.
going to be super great. In Borderlands 2 especially, and I think actually Borderlands 3, there were a lot of farms that were just resetting, like save quitting for more new items of the day. I remember the big time this happened was in the Torg DLC for Borderlands 2, trying to get like perfect unkempt heralds. That's gonna be awesome for that.
Touch. Also, the vending machines are way more packed. There's a lot more to buy from. As for the ammo vendors, they are no longer shoppable. They are only there for buying ammo and selling off your junk. Gun vendors, which you'll
Not
see
for
later
me,
on.
sponsored equals bullshit. This approach has helped me save a lot of money in the years. I mean, but you can still watch it. Like, I mean, it's not like the gameplay is any better or worse because he got flown out, you know what I mean?
Are going to be for your guns and for your ordnance items. Health vendors are for your shields and for your rev kits. Moving on, we take on our first boss, known as Horus. I'm not going to spoil the main story or why this guy's here, but this guy wasn't too hard and was just a healthier version of those flying dudes we fought before. When you get to phase 2, he does bust out a scythe and kind of go crazy, but he wasn't that bad. Also, he dropped a little loot pile, so it is possible he has a dedicated drop. Unfortunately, I couldn't farm him due to the limited time, so I had to pass on. Man, I want to farm so bad. Come on. Anyways, moving on, I got lost again. The compass was telling me to go to the objective, but there's walls in the way, and eventually I did find where to go. You might mention, why not use Echo 4?
I like this approach of, I've never thought about doing this, but this approach of breaking down what he actually played. Something like this for the Destiny reveal would have been really cool for me to do. For Edge of Fate, so you guys like actually understand exactly what we got to play instead of me just saying, oh, we played a couple of missions and then we bounced around. This is like a really cool breakdown of his time interacting with the game, because how you interact with the games at events like this is so unbelievably different than how you do it at home. Yeah, we're watching FanFest in 11 minutes. Yep.
It's not completely accurate just yet, and sometimes I'll just tell you to go through a wall. To be fair though, they did say this is a beta version of the game, and Echo 4 is going to be fine-tuned before release. I just want to be transparent with you guys. The game isn't perfect yet, but they are aware and are working on it. I got lost again, but this time Echo 4 did save the day, and we encounter our first Ripper enemies. Oh hey look, it's Boom.
See, so that's something that's way different in these, is like they just like fucking, they're like, all right, you're done with this mission, bam! You're 10 missions in the future now, and it's like, what the fuck is, what's happening?
No, this isn't Boom Boom from Borderlands 2, but they do explode when they die, so you need to back up. I learned from that. At this point, the game did get quite a bit more difficult, but to be fair,
If I ever am lucky enough to get flown out anywhere again, I'm gonna do this sort of video. I really like this idea.
A little bit underleveled for skipping a bit of combat.
Just
I mean,
like
we have limited time on this
commentary.
demo, so I had to skip some combat.
Like this?
I collect the objectives in area, go back to the main town, and that was the end of the story mission. Cool thing about beating any story mission in the game, or even side mission, you are given a loot crate. But yeah, you're given a loot crate, and you can open it up and get a reward out of it. For mine, they showed.
Oh, please tell me it drops in the world, then you get to watch. If this just opens your inventory, I don't like that.
You can get a green to blue assault rifle, and I ended up pulling a green one.
Damn.
Pretty cool.
Damn, that sucks. Like I said, like so much of what's awesome about Borderlands loot is seeing it in the world. You know what I mean?
After that, I checked out a gun vendor for the first time, and as you can see, you can purchase guns and ordnance items. Again, ordnance is going to be your heavy weapons, your grenades, and your throwing knives. There could be even more for ordnance in the game, but that's all we know at the moment. Alright, now for the side mission, I do look at the minimap and go to that location, and sure enough, it's Claptrap. Yeah. It's here you can read about the mission and see all the rewards you're going to get for completing it. You get purple rarity tier XP, white rarity tier money, a green or blue pistol, customization, and iridium.
They said, Punster, that they're tuning down legendary drop rates a ton in this
iridium
game.
is used for in this
Borderlands
game.
3.
I have no idea at this moment. Hopefully something cool.
I mean, doesn't that just look like iridium?
As for what iridium is used for in this game,
sorry. I thought he said what this symbol is. Okay.
I have no idea at this moment. Hopefully something cool. I will skip forward a little bit here to not spoil
Yeah,
the
the
mission,
fact
but
that you're buying SCUs with the collectibles and not iridium is really interesting. It's also interesting because every Borderlands game has different currencies. So the fact that they're going back to iridium is very odd, but interesting.
there is a lot of combat. But what I do want to highlight is how creative they get with the grappling in this game. The objective for this location was to use the mirrors to bounce a laser to a door, and the laser would explode the wall and open the door. So it did take me a little bit to figure out what to do, but eventually I did see the grapple icon, and these will turn the mirror and allow you to bounce the laser around. I thought that was pretty cool. After opening the wall, it was a true test of your movement, and we got to do something really cool I've been begging for in a Borderlands game, and that is a parkour tower. Now, I know not everybody's a fan of parkour, but I love, pushing the movement to its max. And with this, we had to use the grapple to pull down these platforms and then use it to climb walls. So you grapple, you climb, you mantle, you do all the stuff to get up this tower. For the final bit, I was a little bit confused. I'm like, dude, where do I go? And I realized my only option was to jump and glide around the corner, but if that wasn't what I was supposed to do, I would have fallen all the way to the bottom. Luckily, around the corner, I could climb the wall, and I did make my way all the way to the top.
Oh, that's sick,
That was a lot of fun. With the mission done, I turned
That's
in the
cool.
Claptrap and get my loot box, and I pulled a green and a cosmetic. Unfortunately, it was at this point I hit the time limit for my play session, and they told me it was time to sign off. I was a bit sad because I did want to check out more, but I understand there's other people who want to play the demo, so it was time to get up and go. But yeah, so my final thoughts on Borderlands 4 after...
Oh, that's so interesting. So they had like a rotating station for these people. When every time I've been to Bungie, they have a dedicated station for everyone, and it's a multiple day. It sounds like they only got to play like for a couple hours. Interesting.
After this demo, again, these are full-blown my opinions about the game. Nothing can influence that, and I will tell you right now, this game is a lot of fun. Now, it has its flaws. Every game does. I'm not a huge fan of the compass, and Echo 4 doesn't function like, I would say like 10%, maybe 7% of the time. Like, it will tell you to walk into a wall or follow a weird pathing. But outside of that,
I really don't like
everything
the
else feels
melee.
good.
I don't like the fact that it stays on the ground and you just have to rely on the huge hitbox. I just think that looks really bad. Yo, Lord Denley, thank you for gifting a sub, my friend.
The action skills are fun. The movement's great. The items feel good. The world is beautiful.
Yeah, the tracking looks
the
horrendous.
skills are fun.
That might push me
There's so much
towards
to do in the
Vex
world
even
that I wasn't
harder.
able to check it all out. Mission data gives you a lot of information you need. And the difficulty feels pretty good. XP earn feels good, you know, leveling and whatnot. There's so much I could talk about, but for the most part, this is the most different feeling Borderlands we've ever had.
Good,
but
good.
I mean that in a good way. Keep in mind, we played a very small section of the game, and there's so much more to check out and form opinions on. But as of right now, for what we played today, I can confidently say I am looking forward to this game. I hope it gets post-launch content. I hope it gets good DLCs. I hope it gets, you know, takedowns.
Have they said how
really
long
cool
the
DLC
campaign's supposed
items
to be?
and like much more. And again, I do want to thank 2K for sponsoring this video and allowing me this opportunity to show a little bit of Borderlands 4. Also, if you would like to, you can pre-order Borderlands 4 using the link in the description below.
Okay.
But yeah, let me know what you guys
so
think
it's
about
definitely
Borderlands
like
4
an
so
actual sponsored video, not just flying them out. Interesting.
far off of what you've seen in the gameplay today. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have an awesome day.
50s
and I
max.
will see you in
Okay,
the
so
next
that's like Borderlands 2, right? He has another skill that summons 2 miniguns that shoot at enemies you're aiming at. That's not bad. It's not bad. I think I'm a Vex fan even more, though. I was already Vex pilled, and now I'm even more Vex pilled. Oh, I want to see Killer 6's videos as well. Alright, this starts in 5 minutes, so we'll watch this. No idea how long this is supposed to be. I'm gonna go use the restroom. Oh, that looks sick. That looks sick as fuck. I'm gonna go use the restroom before this starts. Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, there's so much. They really did a fuck ton right here, man. It looks like, at least. It looks like. Wash your hands. I always do. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Transparent. Yeah, you see that? Look at that. I don't know why I'm green screening, but I need to fix my green screen. I guess I have it set for beige. Anyways, I'll be right back. Alrighty. I'm back. Okay. Chair stream. Borderlands 4 is called Raid something completely different. Raids like in Destiny will not be a thing. Yeah, true. It is, the raids in Borderlands are essentially like dungeon bosses in Destiny. So, they usually have like a mechanic or two, like old dungeon bosses in Destiny, not even new ones, like old ones, like Pit of Heresy or you know, like that sort of thing. Like usually like 1 or 2 mechanics, the boss, and a shit ton of ads, and that's it. What's up, Blab? Let's not give them too much credit. It's like strike bosses. Yeah, it's like new strike bosses. That's a good point. But the bosses are usually way harder. What stream is this? This is Borderlands FanFest. I don't really know exactly what that means. It seems like it's just going to be a lot of streamers maybe playing the game and then a new trailer. So we'll check out some stuff. If we need to go back to reviews or whatever, I will. I love Borderlands. Borderlands is what I sunk my time into late middle school, early high school, before Destiny existed. Will they be talking about the Horizon series? Is this a decent joke? Oh, Razor icon. We're gonna get some Borderlands mice or something. Dowda was at this yesterday? Oh. All right, Dowda, you need to hook me up, brother. Holy. All right, 10 seconds. Let's go. I'm excited. I wanna see some good shit. Story trailer, I'm really excited for too. Borderlands lore is always peak. Oh, fuck. Alrighty. Well, fuck it. I don't care. Hey, make sure you subscribe. If you're on Twitch, make sure to drop a sub so it doesn't matter if this gets demonetized.
But here,
Yo, Goku, thank you for the gifted sub.
I have for you.
Our minds fly free beyond.
Oh, Pocket, thank you for the prime.
Now it's your turn.
I will return to the Timekeeper's side.
It is literally just Callus.
We rule forever.
Is that Callus's voice actor?
Heard you were rounding up some vault hunters. Reporting for duty, boss.
Could it be my savior?
Oh, vault hunters! This will hurt!
A toast to our hero.
Oh!
Why should you get to be free? All you do is destroy. We lead a strike team to the fortress, and then we make him pay.
Dude, the boss design looks so peak. Fuck.
Please welcome to the stage the founder of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, everybody.
Oh, it's a lot of people too. Fuck.
You want to hear a story? Yeah! Have I got a story for you? Kairos. It's a place of myth. It's a place of legend. In the Borderlands, Kairos is legendary. Many believe that the planet Kairos is real. That
Is it
on
quiet?
the
I can turn it
planet,
up.
There's vaults containing more wealth, more power than all the rest of the galaxy.
Is that better?
Those who worship the vaults believe that Kairos' secret is immortality.
Is it better or should I turn it up?
I'm here to tell you, Kairos is not a myth.
A bit more?
The legends are true.
Okay, how's that?
It's been invisible for centuries. Suddenly, the planet of Kairos has appeared. Kairos was hidden. It was locked away under a shroud by the timekeeper. On Kairos,
Great, cool.
the timekeeper is a god. The timekeeper reigned over Kairos for thousands of years. The power of the vaults of Kairos are the source of the timekeeper's immortality. The timekeeper surrounded the entire planet in a veil, a shroud that prevented anyone outside of Kairos from being able to see its existence. And for anyone on Kairos, there's no sky, there's nothing. For the people of Kairos, above them is only the veil. There's no stars, there's no universe, there's no sense of anything.
Oh my God.
Greater than
We're gonna
Kairos.
find out what the veil
Only
is.
The timekeeper. I want you to imagine living on Kairos. When you're born, the timekeeper fits you with a bolt. It's a piece of technology that is jammed into your neck, into your spine, into your brain. It allows the timekeeper to see what you see. If the timekeeper wants, he could use the bolt to control your body like a puppet. There's no freedom on Kairos. The timekeeper's control is absolute. The timekeeper's maintained his absolute control over Kairos and its people for thousands and thousands of years. Until recently.
Yo, Ryder, thank you for the raid.
The cataclysm was a giant celestial mass, a moon that suddenly appeared over
A giant
Kairos
radial
and
mass?
shattered the veil. If you've played Borderlands 3, you know that the moon was Elpis.
Savage, thank you for the
You know
the
story
gifted sub.
of
Thank
the
you.
Siren Lilith and her home of Pandora, the entire planet being a massive vault. You know that the moon of Elpis was the key to the vault of Pandora, and you know that a selfish evil conspired to crack open the vault, crack open Pandora itself using the key of Elpis. And that if Pandora was opened, everyone Lilith ever knew or cared about or loved would perish. You know that Lilith sacrificed herself so she could save her friends, her family. She could save everyone that she ever knew and loved. She used her siren power to teleport the key, the moon of Elpis, to teleport it away from Pandora, to teleport it across the galaxy. And maybe it was luck or chance, or maybe it was destiny.
No!
assured by the
I knew
nature of
it!
Sirens and the connection they
This
have.
fucking
with the
guy.
powers of the universe. Whatever the case, Lilith moved the moon of Elpis, and she had no idea where it was going. But as fate would have it, the moon of Elpis is what ended up on Kairos, shattering the veil and upsetting the perfect order of the timekeeper. So for the first
witness is gonna be
time
pissed, bro.
in thousands of years, the legendary, the mythological Kairos became visible to the rest of the universe. And for the first time in the lives of the people of Kairos, the lives of their great-great-grandparents, the lives of their most remote ancestors thousands of years ago, the people of Kairos for the first time could look up at the sky and realize that they're not alone. There was a woman. She was living her life among the farmers, among the workers of Kairos. All she's known her entire life is the timekeeper and his order. And on the day of the cataclysm, she looked up into the sky, and for the first time, she saw stars, she saw the moon, she saw Elpis hanging over her head. Debris rained down, fell to the ground, including one of these, a psychomask. It landed miraculously in almost pristine condition in a smoldering crater a few feet from where she stood. She picked up the mask and she looked at it and she saw its face and she saw its eyes and she knew that Kairos was not alone. She saw the symbol of the vault. She took it as a sign. In the moment, she had a vision. This was a sigil, a symbol of freedom, a symbol of her future.
Sorry, honey, the mask stays on.
She felt a tingle on the back of her neck, and she reached back and felt the bolt. and she gripped the bolt firmly, and she ripped it from her spine, from her brain. And for the first time
Sounds
in
like
her
it'd
life,
kind of be bad for your brain.
she felt freedom. She was free. She brought liberty to Kairos, sometimes by force, some because she convinced people it was worth the risk. It was dangerous to see. The bolts are attached to the spine and the brain. As the bolts were ripped, many people died.
Tweet that.
Some were made insane or broken by the damage caused. But those who survived rallied to the woman's call and the banner, and they called themselves the Rippers. And they were free, and they went wild. They began a rebellion against the timekeeper, a rebellion against his order. There's a civil war brewing on Kairos. The timekeeper's stakes are extreme. His life, his immortality depends upon his control over Kairos and its people.
Epic.
The timekeeper has an army, a synthetic army he calls the Order, and they fight for complete dominance and control. The Rippers are fighting to destroy the timekeeper, to tear down his authority. With the taste of freedom fueling them, the Rippers are called to chaos and disorder. And the planet itself is dangerous. There's wildlife that will eat you to survive. It's a harsh and wild environment. Ecosystems do not care whether you're with the timekeeper or the Rippers or if you're on your own. It's a dangerous world. But then there's you. You're a vault hunter. You know the legend's real. The most powerful vaults in the universe are on Kairos. The disruption there makes it dangerous, but as my buddy Marcus says, where there's danger, there's opportunity. You got to find a way in.
This throws me back to when
Vault
Luke
Hunter.
Smith would
You
go
will
on
to
stage and just
Kairos,
talk about
and you
Destiny.
will hunt
I
the
do miss
vaults.
those days.
Along the way, you're going to meet people who are there and others who have arrived. You're going to find yourself in the middle of a civil war, being asked to pick sides. Keep your eye on the prize. Not only can you survive Kairos, but you can become a legend. This is Borderlands 4.
Become legend? Are you fucking serious, bro?
We've been working
Are
on
you
Borderlands.
fucking serious?
I've been working on Borderlands for over 20 years, and this is what it all leads to. We're starting to get pretty good at it, and the team and I are thrilled. Right now, I want to tell you more about some of the features of the game, some of the cool stuff we've built. So I want to bring to the stage one of my dearest friends, one of my closest co-workers at Gearbox, our Chief Creative Officer. Please welcome to the stage, Randy Varnell.
Oh, Cross is there.
You got a couple of Randys on stage right now. How you doing?
Listen, I'm excited to have the chance to really get to introduce all of you, not only to Borderlands 4, but these amazing Vault Hunters. So Vault Hunters, World Vault Hunters, here we go. We've got 4 of them. We've got Vex, we've got Eamon, we've got Rappa, and we've got Harlow. Now, we're gonna start with Harlow and Eamon. In the coming months, you're gonna get to see us give you a deep dive into those Vault Hunters and all about them. But we're not gonna play them on the streams today, but I think we can give a little sneak peek about maybe a tease?
Yeah. I want to talk about Harlow first. Look, one of the things for me, my biggest fan, my biggest customer is my wife, Christy. She loves Borderlands, and if I don't make her happy, I'm dead. So, and it's always a fun thing for me to try to guess which Vault Hunter she's going to want to play. Now,
some of those
I might
references
think
were
Vex,
definitely
'cause
on
she tends
purpose,
to go
man.
with Sirens, but I think she might pick Harlow this time. Harlow is what we call a gravatar. She has the ability to use science and physics to fight her battles. She can capture enemies in bubbles, slam them to the ground, create explosions, make bubbles jump from enemy to enemy. It's really awesome for crowd control, for area of effect. Harlow kicks ass. I'm pretty sure Christy, my wife's gonna pick Harlow, so I'm rooting for Harlow.
Listen, I'm a big fantasy guy, right?
Yeah.
I like the magic and the axes and everything like that. So Eamon is fantasy fulfillment. That's going to start with him.
Yes.
Look, this dude is massive. He's jacked, right? Yeah. He's what we call our Forge Knight, and he starts with 2 axes, a fire axe.
That's a pretty
an
fucking
ice
sick
axe,
character
and we
art,
call him
actually.
Forge Knight because he can
I
do
like that a lot.
of things with his skills to change those axes into other things, into other abilities and all that. Look, if you like to play with all of the abilities of a character, Eamon's free. I don't want to spoil a lot of that, but you can do a lot with Eamon, right?
Oh yeah, he's an absolute unit.
But let's talk about for a bit. The world is about to get to see a lot of streaming for 2 of our Vault Hunters, Vex and Rafa. Let's start with Vex and take a look at it. Now Vex is our siren, right? We've got that there. And she leans into kind of some really edgy, dark powers. So I really love to call her the Dark Siren. I think that's a good name, right?
Peak.
I mean, you could just say it. I mean, look, she's a fucking witch, you guys.
For sure. You know, Vex would lean into that too. Vex really believes in that darkness. She really likes kind of embracing the edginess of it. Vex is amazing. As a siren, she mixes the power of the phase with kind of her innate kind of a goth witch sister and that.
Yep.
She calls minions to the battlefield. She brings in Reapers and Specters, kind of small army of them can summon. And if you don't really like the Reaper and Spectre vibe, she's got a pet cat. And I say cat, I mean cat. Called Trouble. And Trouble is as Trouble does. Trouble
Bro,
is
they
awesome.
threw Vex up
Yes,
on screen,
yes,
and I
yes.
just...
You can pet Trouble.
I couldn't control myself, man.
I think my main might actually be Rafa. Rafa is dope. Look, Rafa, it wasn't always easy. Rafa was born in microgravity, and the only way Rafa could even stand up, let alone breathe, is with the help of his Tediore exoskeleton. This thing is badass. This armored suit makes him stronger, faster, better than anybody else. He could bring AI-controlled weapons on the armatures that come out of this thing. He also can control blades that he can swing and chop off his enemies. Even go into third person during that blade attack. It's pretty rad watching him decapitate and eviscerate enemies
a lot
in
of
real
gore.
time. I love
that does really just look like Isaac from Dead
we
Space
went
A.
nuts on the gore, you guys. It's all good. Yeah, we did.
Look, and as you expect, all of our Vault Hunters have 3 action skills that can be switched at any time during
Remember when
play.
people said these characters
They
look
do
bland? Dog,
radically,
you know
radically different
exactly
things.
why they
And
said
so
that.
it's like, even if everyone brings, say, Vex to the fight, and everyone picks Trouble as the action skill, you can customize it so much that all 4 players.
Oh, I forgot about Trouble, giant kitty cat skill, bro. It's over. Vex is my main.
Tree that we've ever done in a Borderlands game. It's amazing. Team has done some good stuff.
100%. It's you'll find more skills per character than you found in Borderlands 3 and 2 added together. It's a lot of complexity and depth per character. It's awesome, you guys. We're working late on Fridays for you. But look, one of the best parts about Borderlands for me is, I love playing solo because I love looking at every nook and cranny, but we can also play co-op. You can play with up to 4 friends. We can play together split screen on a couch together. We can be connecting to people across the world, even on different platforms for full cross-play support. We made it as easy as possible. I know not a lot of people are doing this these days. We doubled down on the co-op experience. It's the best ever co-op experience. And all new features with a massive open world, instant fast travel to your friends.
Yeah.
Wherever they are.
Oh, yeah.
Fast travel.
I wish Destiny had that so badly,
Talking
dude.
about fast travel, let's get into gameplay a little bit. Talk about some of the new stuff we're doing there. Like the moveset in Borderlands 4 just got a massive upgrade.
Yeah, let's talk about that traversal. Look, it starts with the ability to double jump. Now, I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's awesome and it's super fun. So double jump it off, get to new heights. You're gonna reach places you never could before. Also, we added a glide,
Moses, thank you so much for the Prime sub.
So you can double jump high and then just glide through the whole environment. These 2 moves added together greatly open up the freedom to explore, and we have jam-packed this massive world with tons of stuff to find.
Honestly, I think climb is going to be one of the biggest sleeper game changers, depending what you can climb.
We're going to reward you for those efforts.
On top of that, we've added a new multi-use grapple grabber. This little grapple hook that you always have. You hit the melee button to use it. You can grapple to points that are around the world, and it'll either send you
thank you for the 2 gifted.
or up on top of a ledge so you can get a perspective. But get this. They all combo together. So if you use double jump, glide, grapple up, you can actually kind
for
of
notification of movement, I don't even care, dude.
Quite a wall. And while you're airborne,
as a Gen Z movement kid myself,
we have, you can rain
fuck
destruction down on the enemies
embrace
from the ground and everything. It's amazing. Oh, if that wasn't enough,
embrace the movement.
You can also pull in some explosive barrels and stuff that you can pull in, throw at the enemy for just another tool in combat to really pack a punch. Really sweet.
We've
Pack-a
got
Punch,
tons of stuff.
zombies
We also
reference
added
too?
a dash feature, which you can use to instantly slide to the side, forward, back. You can even do it in the air if you're dodging rockets in midair.
Gen Z,
We're
97,
getting
brother.
blasted to hell. You
97
can
on the
dash
Zoomer.
in any direction you want. I have a feeling that a lot of content creators and speedrunners are going to be stacking these
By,
moves
by
and
6
breaking the
months or
physics
8
system.
months, but I am.
can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome.
And we haven't taken away what you loved in Borderlands 3. We still have climbing up walls, vaulting smoothly over objects, dashing and sliding across the ground. You can combo together, and I should probably mention
God, I'm so excited for this,
one.
bro.
Dun, dun,
Like I
dun,
said,
for the first time
thing
ever,
I'm doing is trying to
you
break the
can
movement system.
swim. Water is no longer your enemy in Borderlands. You can move through it. We wanted to be sure it's free on that. You know, we used it as a barrier for Borderlands 3 to keep you inside the map, and now we're just, you know, go nuts, have fun.
There are less borders, more lands, right? Look, we want you to freely explore this beautiful world. The team has worked so hard, created this amazing, awesome experience, and we want you to feel badass while you're working around this place. So the moveset does it. It feels great to use. Kairos is bigger, it's more massive than ever before, and it's a seamless world. So freely explore, no loading, just discover, explore, check it out. Side missions, activities, plenty of loot, tons to do. Lots of loot. We got like crazy. The best.
This is the best loot case we've ever done, right?
100%.
We've added so much stuff, guns and new gear and all that for you to play with. Look, we have more guns and gear than we've ever put
like
in any Borderlands game. And we've also done this. We have tuned the drop rates to be sure that legendaries, once again, feel legendary.
Boom.
Anytime you see that gold beam, we want your heart rate to pump. We want you to get excited. We want you to, can't wait to open up and look at it what it is. Look, we love to give things away. And in Borderlands 3, we might have been a little over generous with the legendaries. We still have plenty of guns, but blues, purples, legendaries, all the loot is going to matter. And it's going to be, we want, when you see those beams, we want you to lose your minds again when you see the really, really, really great loot. And yes,
Destiny
they are powerful.
needs that so badly.
I don't know. There's a bunch of people in this room. I'm seeing hundreds of people here. There's thousands of people watching online. A couple of you might get really, really lucky and see something else. But what we're talking about here are weapons, gear, loot, and guns, and some of our favorite weapon manufacturers are back. Look, this is our world. We spend our time in this, right? So Jacobs, Maliwan, TDR, they're all back.
Yeah, dude, where's the fucking crafting crowd for Borderlands, eh?
Like my favorite, the Rippers. Rippers have their own guns now. They just shred. It's all about throughput. It's all about rate of fire.
Imagine getting excited to see an exotic drop again.
In the game.
I literally just can't even envision that being a reality in Destiny, man.
They're cool. They can charge up. You can fire them single shot really fast, but you charge that beam up, get an aim shot that's really going to pack a punch. Good for boss fights. Daedalus is one of the other new manufacturers. They're cool. Yeah. Thanks for the assist. This guy helped us build. We build digital stuff. This guy helped us build a Daedalus weapon in the real world. It's amazing. All you cosplayers just melt our brains. We can make digital stuff. You're making real stuff. It's super cool. But Daedalus weapons are cool because they can use pretty much any weapon ammo type. So you got a sniper rifle and you're out of bullets. That's fine. Shotgun ammo works. Daedalus weapons are very versatile, super reliable.
And you know, one of the few certainties on Borderlands about weapon manufacturers is they are greedy as hell, right? So, but that greed in this game is going to turn to your benefit. For the first time ever, our weapon manufacturers are licensing parts to other weapon manufacturers.
I'm interested in this.
That means you can find guns with mixes of different manufacturer parts. So I found one the other day, ready? This is a kick-ass gun. I love Torgue sticky grenades, right?
Okay.
Torgue sticky grenades are cool. So I found Torgue sticky grenades shot from an order pistol. So I could literally charge up, send a barrage of sticky grenades right at a dude. And then when I reloaded it, it was a TDR reload, so it throws away for an explosion, and it ignites all the sticky grenades at once. It was amazing. And it just dropped me the other day of the game.
We haven't even seen all the possibilities. It's amazing what the system can do.
It's great, it's great. And you know, you should look for the wild combinations like maybe a throwing knife that causes a singularity.
This is
the coming of a
I
throwing
really
knife
hope
of
the Bungie
singularity.
marketing team is watching
That
this.
shit as it sounds.
They're doing the dev on the couch stuff, but after they explain everything.
People like to hoard their
If the
ammo,
marathon
so we
reveal was
replaced the
structured
grenade
like
button with
this,
something we call
and
ordnance. You can
including
still
the
slot
lead up
grenades
in the
there, but
previous
everything
months.
in the ordnance slot runs on a cooldown.
Oh my
so you don't
God.
have to feel like you hoard ammo anymore.
Now imagine
Just
if the
use it as
first
you
thing
got
we
it.
heard about
And
Borderlands
it's not just
4
grenades, heavy weapons,
was the
rocket
fact
launchers,
that you
wrist
could
rockets,
license parts and
throwing
get crazy
knives, all
combinations.
kinds
It'd be
of crazy
awful.
stuff.
No one would fucking
Whatever you
care. What
want,
does that mean?
slot it in, and it's right there. It's almost like an extra action skill.
It's really cool. Yeah, just don't count those missiles before they hatch, right?
Well, you guys, we've got a lot of Borderlands, and you're here today, which means you're going to spend time with the game. We have worked hard. We have been cooking.
Yeah, our team is really cooked.
We can't wait to launch it. So you guys know the game comes on September 12th, and you can pre-order now. And we did it, you guys. It's, the price isn't
Yeah,
up.
toast.
$69.99 for the base game, right? That's a big victory. And I love it because I want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy this game. There's a bunch of fun additions. A lot of them come with stuff that we're going to make once we finish the main game, DLC stuff. We've already committed to big premium campaign DLCs. We've also committed to making a couple of new Vault Hunters for you guys as playable characters. Something we haven't done for over a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I know you guys want that, so we committed
Wait,
to
did
that.
Borderlands
I
3
have
not
a
have
feeling-
extra-
I have a feeling you're gonna
extra
show
Vault
up.
Hunters?
And the more you guys show up with the pre-orders and purchasing the special
Was pre-sequel
editions,
the last one?
more energy we get hyped to put into that downloadable content. The truth is, though, we're landing the
No
main game.
way, I
We're
didn't know
landing the
that.
main game. So later, we'll be able to tell you about all the cool stuff we're building.
But our team loves to make Borderlands.
We don't want to stop, and that's up to you. We want to just keep making Borderlands. So we love that you're here. We love that you're watching. We love that you're watching us at home. And we want to show up for you. So thank you for showing up for us. And before we go, before we let you free, I want to show you all, I want to introduce you to all the people that are working on this. We've got some incredible talent working on Borderlands. Like I said, we've been working together. Some of us have been
And
working on
now
this,
that
including
you've
myself, for
blown
over 20
everyone
years.
away and you've explained what the
a lot
game
of us
is,
showed
you've
up
introduced
today.
the human
We got people
element.
working, in
This is
Quebec
exactly
City,
what I've been
Montreal, and
preaching
Frisco,
to
but we brought a lot of
Bungie for
leads and a lot
the
of
last
department heads and
6
a lot of the
months,
folks
8
driving
months,
this
year.
process. We brought
This
them
is
here right now,
this is
and I want
such a
you to
great
meet
structure
the
reveal.
Borderlands 4 team. You
And
guys ready to meet the
the
Borderlands
crazy
4
part
team?
is like Gearbox didn't invent this. This is
Borderlands
Bungie's
4 team,
fucking
come
formula
on, you guys.
that Bungie
Give it
just
up
stopped
for them.
doing.
These guys make it happen.
But now they're gonna
These
show
guys
all
make
the
it
devs
happen.
and talk to
These
them.
guys make it happen. This is where the magic is.
Why
This is where
was
the
Edge of Fate
magic
reveal
is.
not like this? Why
Yes,
was Marathon
yes,
reveal not like
Anthony,
this? What are we doing?
Sam! Oh, you guys, I love you guys. Yes, get in here, get in here, get in here.
Gearbox has such a
Borderlands
fucking
14, you guys.
layup right now, man. This genre completely dead.
Brock and
Destiny
Jason
on
hugging it
a
out.
content
Fuck yeah.
decline in terms of how much is coming out.
Yeah.
On a sentiment decline based off of how fans of this genre, this type of genre, feel about the game. Borderlands has the easiest fucking layup right now. Dude, all they have to do and what they've done is just add everything people have been asking for.
Still going.
Holy fuck.
Holy, look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, the Borderlands 4 team at Gearbox. Yeah, give it up, give it up.
Wait, no shot, that's it. Wait.
Man, you guys have been working your asses off, making some crazy, incredible stuff. I'm so grateful to be on your team, to be able to work with you guys every day. I want to introduce you guys to the leader of this team, our creative director, our champion, our hero. This is Graham Timmons right here.
I want to know how many devs are working
Graham
on
is the
Borderlands
best.
4. Destiny
Graham,
has about
how you
600-ish,
feeling, buddy?
650 last time we got a report.
I'm so proud of this team. We're so proud of Borderlands 4. It's our best Borderlands, and the game speaks for itself, and we can't wait for you all to play it.
Heck yeah, Graham Timmons, everybody. And the Borderlands 4 team.
I'm so excited for
Thanks
Borderlands
hanging
4.
out
This
with us.
makes me just feel
Enjoy your day
awful
here,
about
and everybody
Destiny.
at home,
Like,
enjoy
fuck.
the streams. Everybody's playing. Check it out.
Yes, and then they throw it to creators. Don't have creators be the first time you learn about something. Oh my God. Fuck me, dude.
The ones that look like alien, yeah. Yep.
Right. Lego, Lego.
Yep.
Let's go.
That was good.
The reload. Let's go.
Yeah, he's held his super down. The one in the middle. Yep.
Okay, what did he drop though? What did he drop though?
Beautiful.
Yeah, what's that? What's that? He dropped
taking
gun.
it. He got a,
Is that
it's a sniper.
what got this? It's
was a sniper,
this is
Lego.
assault rifle. Assault rifle.
Rallying Ragoon or something like that.
This is nice. This is a nice gun.
I need to equip it.
Yeah, I have one on me right now. Has like 18 ammo.
Right.
There's loot over here. There's loot over here. There's loot over here.
All right, there's still enemies.
Okay, yeah, those are ammo. Those are ammo. So pretty much.
When
ammo
was
box.
Borderlands 4 first
there's
revealed?
one
Like
over
4
here.
months ago?
There's another ammo box over here. If anybody need one?
Oh, hello.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's kind of dope.
Yeah. So all those.
God
so
damn.
yeah, there's
bro.
ammo
Okay,
boxes
let's
over
check
there.
out who else is streaming this. Is
ammo
Dado
boxes
streaming
in here.
this?
Ammo.
Shut up.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, Dado's live right now. I want to see what Daddy Dado's doing.
Hopefully that should be good.
What are you doing, Dado? How you doing, buddy?
We gotta
Who's he playing with?
Oh, damn! I haven't seen this yet. All right, you gotta get your cat out here. I just have like
Hang on.
a gun.
I join you first. How do I join? I forget. I've already forgotten. Panic.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set my skill.
Wait, who are we joining on?
Anyone, you can join on anyone.
Yeah, or yeah, anybody at this point. You're
Sorry,
good.
I'm late. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
It's me.
All right. Hey, don't you shake that head.
What do
Shake that head and
Oh, Dado's not playing Vex.
Wave my head and then I shake my head.
Toes, we're gonna have to have an intervention
Oh, there's
for
like
this
a
guy,
little,
man.
There was a kitty over here.
There we go.
Look
at me glide. Look at me glide.
Like, come on.
He's
Come on, bro. Are you serious?
All right.
Okay, so we want to do the main quest first, right? Because that's gonna get us a vehicle, they said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy. Kill it. Kill it, he yells.
Oh, wait a second. I need to set my action skills and stuff.
Yeah, you do.
Because otherwise
I
I won't
got
do it.
All right, let's see what Crossplay is doing as well.
How do you get up?
We're supposed to get in this building, though?
Just double jumping, baby.
Oh, just double jump. Okay, double jump. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Look at the map. Where we at?
All right.
We have an echo log. We have. Are we supposed to go to the mission that's outside?
Oh yeah. The gold chest. There's a gold chest over here. I think. Let me select. Can we?
Yeah, we still got to get the key. The gold chest is in the building.
I like the UI animation to go into your inventory.
So let's go down here and go.
Need some yellow paint.
I feel like worst case scenario.
Needs the mini
we're gonna
maps.
find it
They weren't able to work that into the build.
Okay, let's do it then. Let's do it.
Chad, can you see the graphical upgrades that this one has? Noticeably, I don't know if the stream is doing it any justice. But noticeable improvements across the board. Looks great. One of the devs also said that the game is bigger than Elden Ring. It's a big talk, man. It's a big talk. Looks crispy.
You'll be good in no time. Hey, drink up. Hydration, people. No more passing out.
They probably all have key lights, and Dado just has his turned down.
Protein for you.
A lot of times at these events, every streamer will have two monitors, and then a key light and just like an Elgato C920 or something.
Yeah, Rashi absolutely has you.
I bet you worked up an appetite thrashing our $1 soldiers. But good news, a fresh batch of homemade protein bars just
God,
came
it looks
out
so
of
good,
the
bro.
Oh, hell yeah.
And welcome to the
Got that Jim Bro.
Yeah, they have a light above their
us.
monitors. They just looked off on Dado's POV. I mean, you can control it. Like, I don't like sitting there with a huge bright light in my face, and it's not like in my setup. My light's up high, so I can have it bright, but it's out of my FOV. So I It's not like blinding me. But at an event like this, it'll be right fucking in front of you, and it's just like, you know. I guess I was gonna say, if you look at my marathon gameplay, I'm really dark in that too. But I actually cropped out all my face cam of the marathon gameplay.
I'll take it, but I'm not gonna use it.
But I had it way down. I looked awful in those recordings because I just like when you need to be locked in, you don't need a fucking billion lumen thing shining right in your
The little
eyeballs.
boxes. Let's go this way. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get
The
you
hype for
guys
this
right
game
now.
is insane. Yes, because they're marketing. Well, it looks like the devs deliver. I'm gonna turn the stream down.
Yeah, I see the other.
Oh, you guys back outside.
How is that? Is that too quiet? How's that audio?
Okay, come back up. Come back up.
It's because the devs like took feedback and have absolutely cooked. In I think more importantly for a game like this, the marketing team has hit every fucking stride, bro. It's awesome.
Oh yes.
Oh, is Milo at this?
Chat, take this moment to recognize what has been given to us right here.
Milo is not at this.
That's how big the world is. You gotta have.
Who in the Destiny community is at this?
Hold on.
I'm gonna drive this thing as recklessly as I possibly can. It's still safe, but like
the Sparrow.
Dangerously so.
We got SRL.
You're going after Saul's spy master, right? He's holed up in the Order surveillance center down the road. But
scan the vehicle, okay, it's been scanned.
There in no time.
Okay. Okay, how do I?
Just crossing data. Okay.
They use the buggy. That's the question.
Wait, what's the sub thing?
Summon the vehicle.
Right.
Wait, what's this? It's not G. Whatever this is.
It's not G.
G's one of our abilities.
That grabs nice.
They're Butterfinger partners. It's actually pretty funny because if I couldn't have done that because I didn't get invited. I'm not on the, you know, the million subscriber benchmark or whatever they have for this, but I couldn't have done it because Victoria's allergic to peanuts. So I'd have been like, oh wow, Butterfingers are great. I haven't had one in a decade.
No, I don't think that's it.
Yo, ZK, what's up?
Yeah, it's not Alt L4 chat. It's not.
How do I use it?
I can go. Let me look at options.
I'm literally going to check the settings now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can check the settings. You just look at it. Yeah.
I kind of want to check out Killer 6's review here.
Borderlands 4 early, and well, I liked it, but let me start with a big thanks to 2K for sponsoring this video and literally asking for my honest thoughts on this. I'll start with some positives, then I'll dive into the negatives, all of which
So once again, I don't know if they were, the way that they're talking, they were actually paid to make the videos as well. One thing I notice in the Destiny community, at least, is a lot of people doubt when they say this. But I promise you guys, these companies, if they are spending money to fly people out, they care way more about the negative feedback. If they genuinely want to make a game that is as popular as possible, they care infinitely more about the negative feedback than the positive feedback. I promise you.
I was able to directly tell the developers immediately after completing my play session, so they know and they say that they're working on things. Now, I played Vex first, but I was stuck using an Xbox controller. I'm not really familiar or comfortable using those. I'm not used to having a D-pad below my left thumbstick. I'm used to having it above my left thumbstick.
They didn't do it for Destiny, but when I went for Marathon, we would play for like 3 or 4 hours. Marathon play sessions were longer. Like I was there, I would do 3 days of playing, not 2, like the Destiny. And then you'd play for like 3 or 4 hours, and then they'd pull you in a conference room, and they would have it would be like, oh, today you're talking with this team, the art team. Today you're talking to the investment team, whatever. And then they would just ask you questions, and it would be a round table. There'd be like, 6 to 8 creators in the room. And then you just kind of go one by one, and then there'd be an open discussion. And then after 10 or 15 minutes on a question, they'd go to the next one. And they were like, if you have positives, feel free to say, it or whatever. But honestly, we only care about the negative feedback. They wanted the negatives way more. You're way more incentivized to get positive feedback inherently by being paid to do a sponsor, to be fair. That's why Skillup refuses them at all. So there's a couple ways to say this. there's differences. So like, when we did marathon content, we were not paid for videos. We were not paid in our contracts, in our, you know, what we were signing up for, there is absolutely no social engagement required at all. We didn't have to say that we got invited. We didn't have to do reviews, etc., etc. There's no social engagement requirement at all. So those videos are technically not sponsored. They flew us out, they put us in hotels to play test and to provide feedback, but not to make videos. That's never what those trips were about. The Destiny one also, you're not required to make videos on, but I'm not sure why you would go to it if you weren't going to do some sort of review, because they got a little bit of feedback, but that's really a preview session. So like Skill Up not paying for a hotel, or not letting them pay for his hotel and stuff, it's a little different because he is specifically going there to do a review because he's part of the media. He's not a content creator, but content creators, at least in the events I've been to for Marathon, were never ever paid from those events to make actual content. I would say you're much more, at least for me, my thoughts are much more likely to be influenced by like being able to play with my friends there than like any money. And that's just me personally, but like I'm going to enjoy Marathon more if you fly me out and I get to sit in the same room with my friends and we get to play and have fun, because the social aspect is a big part of the game. And so like, yeah, it's me and a bunch of my friends. We're playing the game, and then we're going out to dinner, and then we're having breakfast, and we're fucking around, and then CB and I are doing a fucking ARG in the hotel room, and then we go back and play. That is much more, at least in my mind, much more likely to play a factor than the fact that, you know, they're giving you compensation for your time and feedback. That's just me. That happens no matter what. If you're Skill Up and you're going to this event, I don't know, Skill Up is a little different because he only went for one day. He was only there for half of it. He wasn't even there for the whole thing. But like, if you're IGN or you're Polygon or you're whatever, you're still having that social interaction. You know what I mean? And I think that is a much heavier influence than any sort of compensation, in my opinion, especially with the little compensation that we were given for that event. That's just my opinion. So like, for the Borderlands thing, I think like Cross and Dado, at least if I was in their shoes, I'm much more likely to feel good about the game because you're like there playing it with a bunch of people that you know or just met, and it's your peers and you're having a good time, versus whatever, you know, whatever they were paid to if they were paid at all to go play today. It's just different. But that's not even how this conversation started. Sorry. They like truly, I don't know how it is at Gearbox. I've never talked with Gearbox, but I would not, especially with all the feedback that they've taken for this game. I have zero doubts that they just want the negative feedback. And I think that is hugely supported by the fact that they have already developed a mini-map for this game. Almost assuredly because of the large outcry started by specific content creators. So that's kind of where I'm at. Moxie posted late game gameplay if you want to watch that after. Oh, really? How did they get that?
Important for you to know that some of this early gameplay is me just fumbling on the controller trying to figure things out, and the location of that D-pad is really important for one of my negatives for later. Now eventually they did bring me a PlayStation controller. They didn't have to do that, and I didn't really ask for that, but I'm glad that they did, and that made a world of difference for me. So big shout out to the folks at 2K who went out of their way to not only find a PlayStation controller for me to use and then plugged it in so I actually could use it. Now let me just say,
it's also interesting that he's specifying 2K. I'm wondering if that means he didn't. I'm wondering if they actually were at Gearbox. Then, if they're mostly interacting with 2K, they might be somewhere else.
and the gameplay is so much fun that I literally
Unless Gearbox
forgot
has
to
like
use my
integrated
action
2K
skill
Studios as
for
well.
a good chunk of my footage
like
at the
studio,
beginning. I'll have a separate
like
video
Office Space and
about
stuff.
both her and Rafa's skill trees.
2K is
and
Gearbox's
potential-
publisher. Yeah, I know, but it's still like separate. It's a separate entity, right? So like for instance, when I go to Bungie, sometimes there are PlayStation people there, but it's not PlayStation running the event, right? Like I'm not going to say, "Oh, thank you to Sony or PlayStation Studios for giving me a PlayStation controller." I would never say that because I'm interacting like 95% with Bungie employees. So it's interesting to me that he is specifying 2K there.
Synergies that I think could be amazing coming up. Now, next, the movement felt amazing. Gliding is smooth, and it becomes
Is the audio
nature extremely fast. Grappling is great, but it did take me a little bit longer to adapt to because that's stuck on my melee key. So I'm used to only pushing melee when I want to punch an enemy in the face. It takes a little while for you to kind of get the feel of like, oh, okay, I can grapple that, and then you know, it just becomes second nature as well. You can also grapple some objects in the surroundings.
Punster, can you get that badge by donating to my or
amazing? I got the
not donating, subbing to my channel, or is that only specific
swim
channels?
a couple times. I didn't see any options to dive underwater, so I don't think there'll be any like underwater exploration, maybe in a future game or something, but it is nice to like be able to touch water and not just instantly die. Also, I didn't see any negative effects to swimming.
If you guys want
other than
another
you
unique
can't shoot and you're
Twitch badge,
largely
make sure to
defenseless,
sub
but I did notice that if you jump up out of the water, you pull out your gun. You can also grapple directly out of the water, so that's beneficial too. Now, later on in my gameplay, I found a throwing knife and I fell in love. Hitting a lesser mob in the head with a throwing knife.
Yeah, throwing knives are gonna be
always
fucking
led
sick,
to
bro.
a kill, and it reminded me a lot of the Borderlands 2
They should definitely have you there.
grenade.
No, I
It
understand.
rewards
Like,
you
if
for being accurate.
look,
and
I
the
would have loved to be
punishment
there.
for missing
I
it
have literally, now that marathon was delayed, I have 2 days of PTO that are not accounted for the rest of the year. So, but it's look, if I'm Gearbox, I'm probably not picking me either. I'm a relatively small fish. The only reason I get invited to Bungie events is because I truly believe it's because of me being so instrumental in the solving of the first marathon ARG, and then B, you know, years and years of demonstrating that I can give like semi-coherent, concise feedback. And once again, those were feedback sessions more than anything. So, but like, why would Gearbox look at a fucking Destiny YouTuber with 100K subs and invite him out? You know what I mean? Unless they're doing a massive event. But they have so many better, like statistically better, options for that. So.
The cooldown.
Yo,
on your
Alveric,
ordnance.
thank you
It's
for
a
the gifted
fair and
sub,
fun balance,
my friend.
in my opinion, and more about ordnance in just a moment. The mission flow felt good. I finished the story mission. I killed the boss. I had some great dialogue that fans of Borderlands 2's humor will like, probably. It's enjoyable, basic mini boss type stuff. Rest assured, I actually encountered this
I like how the action skill icons have multiple colors. They're usually just one
boss
color, right?
again as
I
a
like how
random world
they've
boss,
got
it
some.
seems. So here's his footage of that. As far as
Cool
the
stuff.
open world goes, there was plenty to see and do. Exploration is literally rewarding, as you're going to find vault symbols. Yes, those are back. Echo
awesome.
logs and other interesting things. I encountered a mission where I was beamed up into a spaceship and I was instructed to essentially just break everything. But this was also inside of an area where enemies were tougher
Yeah, Cross
than
and Dado are
expected,
like
so I
the
died
perfect
without
people to be here,
successfully
in my
completing
opinion,
the
as well.
challenge. Echo 4 is a nice way to just pull up a direct path for the current mission or objective. I'm not a big
Yeah, if I was
fan of,
Gearbox,
like,
I would
just
do
saying-
like 75% Borderlands YouTubers, 15% Destiny YouTubers, and then 10% like big names of people who check out other games as well. So, like, let's see, what's a good example? Like Glad isn't really a Destiny guy anymore, but I would invite Glad. If there's any big Division people, if there's any big, probably Diablo creators, I'd invite a couple Diablo creators, the biggest ones. I don't know if Warframe has any like million subscriber people, but if they do, I'd invite a couple of them. But you got to be really really targeted. Rest Assured does mainly Destiny. Wait, serious? Rest Assured does mainly Destiny? I am not familiar with this. Oh, good for this person. Nice. I'm gonna drop a sub. I've never heard of Rest Assured, but smaller creator. Good. I'm glad people like this get or channels like this get opportunities like this. That's fucking awesome. Good for this person. That's super sick. Yeah, and then probably I would do 5 or 10% smaller creators from these spaces as well, because I think those are really important. For you got to think from like Gearbox and Bungie perspective. If you make this smaller if you bolster up smaller creators, it's almost like an investment, right? To have someone like, so someone like Glad or Aztecross is going to have a very different audience in terms of how hardcore they are towards a certain game versus a smaller creator. Smaller creators, typically their audiences are going to be much more hardcore, whereas Aztecross, you know, has obviously built his audience from a variety of different genres and a variety of different games, but that also means that generally, in my opinion, they're going to be less kind of obsessive or less hardcore about this sort of game. So I think it's important to kind of have that sort of thing as well. I like this guy's thumbnails too. Fuck. God, I really gotta step up my thumbnail game. Good for this guy. That's awesome.
Draw me a line to where I need to go, but at the same time,
oh, Path of Exile as well.
That will be extremely helpful for a lot of people, because with this being open world, it's going to be easy to get off your beat.
Plus, I don't know this for sure because I've never asked other people what they get paid. But I would bet smaller creators, you give them less as well. And so your upside in terms of like marketing potential is way higher versus like, I don't know how much Lupo got paid to like cover marathon, or not cover marathon, but you know, like go playtest marathon, and then with the knowledge that he's going to probably be involved and release a video or whatever. But I guarantee it's like 10x, 20 times what my compensation was.
Path and then be like, oh crap, where am I supposed to go? The customization,
as it should be. I mean, he's got like fucking
a
billion.
You can customize your Vault Hunter with multiple body types. Again, so far there's only 2. It looks like at launch.
Zero helmet for Vex.
Loads of
I'm locked in.
to choose from. Lots of skins. You can even customize the look of your Echo 4. SDUs are purchased on the menu, and you use whatever this currency is right here.
Wait, so if you buy SDUs here, does that mean Crazy Earl's not going to be a thing anymore? They have just a ton of random ass variety streamers and IRL streamers there. Oh, I mean, that's actually a good move too with how the meta of streaming is going. That's a good
level
move.
These up. There's pros and cons to this system, but it does keep you from abusing the lost loot machine from a previous.
Have they said how many streamers are actually there?
A new character. Speaking of
horny
lost
gamer
loot, the lost loot machine is returning, and that's a positive thing. With the skill trees being deeper than ever, I think it would benefit the game massively to let players respec for free from anywhere. Now, time really got away from me, which is a good sign for the fun factor of the gameplay. My time in each section just
wasn't SEUs in Borderlands 3. I mean, yeah, I played Borderlands 3, I think, through the campaign one time.
Launchers / heavy style weapons.
And then,
it's one or the
I don't
other,
think I played
never
much
both simultaneously. Now I'm kind
because there
of
wasn't
like,
any end game at launch. I just
on
farmed
the fence about this, but I'm not really a launchers or grenade kind of player. So for me, it's good either way. And I loved throwing knives. I have a feeling that some people will love this change and others will hate it. Now the group of people that I played with was pretty unconcerned about the change. Most of them actually liked it once they got used to it, but no more launchers, only allegiance, not without being super slow and painful. There is a cooldown anytime you use up your ordnance, so keep that in mind. I think it's like 20 seconds between being able to use ordnance again, so that's going to make doing
I'll check out the Moxie video after this.
slow.
I am worried about the move of like rockets and stuff to the ordnance slot.
Another positives real quick,
because so much of like the fun from Borderlands 2 was like North
the heads up display that's
shit,
on the
you know
main
what I mean?
screen. However, I'm not a big
but
fan
I'm
of
open to it. I'm open to see how that functions.
Go around your level is nice, and it takes up a lot less of the screen. We're definitely in cutscenes wearing whatever we've put on our character, so that's a nice addition.
Yeah, Paper, it was a great
it feels
trailer.
like you're part of the story this way. And once again, just like in previous games, anytime you level up, you get a damage bonus for a short time, so that's nice. Now for the negatives, and listen, We were on a build that was already nearly a month old. Some of my issues might have already been addressed by the time this video goes live, but it's important that the developers also hear from you guys about your concerns. So if anything that I say or show you here is of concern to you, then please speak up. Leave a comment here, tag Gearbox on Twitter, but please always be respectful in your critiques and give them actionable feedback. Saying I hate blah 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 is pointless. Say you can improve blah 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 by tweaking XYZ or something like that. You know what I mean? As an example, I'm not a big fan of the compass, as you guys might have heard. Overlapping information is too
I love how
and
the
it's
number
too
one consistency is
small at
people
the top
just
of your
fucking
screen
hate the
to be
compass.
valuable in high-paced combat. So that's pointless to me. A solution would be simply adding the option for a mini map that players can toggle on if they want it, or toggle it off if you don't want it. In heavy
What's
combat, I shot non-player characters and I had trouble
she's probably
identifying
on her
enemies
chair.
quickly. The fog of war is real, and the compass is little to no help in combat. If anything,
I like
it's
how
demonstrably
he
worse.
borrowed this footage from Jolts and then picked the one clip where he's just like shooting an NPC over and over again and missing his
combat
shots
in every conceivable way. This isn't just my
That's
take on this, by
crazy
the way.
work.
Literally
Oh,
every
and
creator
dying.
that I talked
No.
to
That's
said the
crazy
exact same thing
work.
after their play session. Some of them even came to me and said, dude, you're right. Not having a mini map is rough. Randy Pitchford had said, play the game,
That's
not the mini-map.
crazy,
But while
dude.
trying to follow mission objectives using the compass, I found myself just playing the compass several times, trying to stay headed in the right direction. I ran into obstacles because I was trying to make sure I kept the
really
compass
like the
pointed in the right
thicker,
direction. Now you
the
can
thicker
mitigate
edge on
some
the
of that by
cel-shaded
using
stuff.
the
I think it
Echo
looks
4
really good.
and it'll give you like a path, but then you're playing look at the line on the ground and it's holding your hand. If you think gamers hated having yellow paint on ledges or ladders, wait till they complain about this totally optional thing. I like Echo 4. I see the value of that system. I'm just saying some people get mad about the dumbest stuff. I also found the compass actually marred my experience with navigating elevations as well. In the story mission we
Yeah,
were
makes a lot of
on, I
sense.
genuinely could not tell
See, it
what
works
way
in
I was supposed
Borderlands
to be
1 because
going
Borderlands
the
1 had
compass is
very
a jumbled
simple,
mess of overlapping
very simple quest
information.
structures,
At
very
best, it just
simple
tells you if you're
environments,
going
not a
in
lot
the
of
straight
multi-level
line
stuff.
toward something. But if you're in a building which has hallways and twists and turns, the compass is
Yeah, that's what,
very unhelpful. A
that's
smaller
what Cross was
complaint,
just
but
saying,
one that
Hex.
kind of
That's
blows my
crazy.
mind is they don't appear to have the auto sell rarities option in the settings. But there's a ton of settings, so it's entirely possible that I just missed it. They do, however, have pick up as trash.
The one
but
thing I
that
really like that Call of
literally
Duty
just
does
picks
is you
up
can
the
search
item and
through
marks
your
it with
settings.
the trash can icon,
I think that's
which
fucking
allows
awesome,
you to
and
then
more
go
games
to a
need to do
vending
that.
machine and sell it. Why they didn't keep the auto sell rarities feature from Borderlands 3 that they added 6 years into the lifespan of the game is as baffling as the mini-map stuff, frankly. It literally makes no sense to me to not include it. But again, this is an early build. It's possible that it's in the final release. God, I hope so. Speaking of removed features, no photo mode on the version that we played. Now, this one's extremely
I'm gonna be completely
baffling.
honest,
Photo
I didn't
mode
know
is
a single
wildly popular
Borderlands
with
had
the
photo mode.
Borderlands community so that they can see their character in their gear in various maps and locations. It was there at the launch of Borderlands 3, and it's possible that they'll have it by launch of
Really?
Borderlands
I do
4,
not
but on
remember
this
that
build,
at
it was
all,
not
dude.
in there. Something they absolutely have to address is how long it takes to respawn on death. You spend 7 seconds in the dying animation while Echo 4 looks over your dead body, then almost 6 seconds in the warp tunnel, and then another 7 seconds showing the animation of respawning. That's right, I read all that in the time it took me to respawn. Trying to use the rep kit with a controller is a little bit tricky, especially a controller
The
that you
marathon
don't like,
death
so I
animation.
constantly
True,
hit
though.
down on the D-pad when I needed to use a rep kit, which is left on the D-pad. You can adjust all these button layouts, but ultimately something has to go on the D-pad, and I'm not a fan of potentially dying because I accidentally swapped firing modes on my gun instead of healing. Here's some quick negatives to add into the other things. The modifiers system is kind of back in a way. Some of the badass enemies will have a feature on them that will show like a modifier beneath their name, and I count 24 modifiers at this point.
God
and
damn.
only one of them is remotely positive, and that's the experienced modifier, which appears to give you more XP when you kill that enemy, but I could be wrong about that. We need more time with the game to be sure. Ultimately, the positives for me far outweigh the negatives, but the negatives are things that should be addressed as soon as possible because they are substantial and potentially harmful for the overall sentiment of the community towards the game. Once you dive in and play, it's a ton of fun. My initial gut reaction, however, is of mild concern, and I hope that my concern doesn't
I
fall
don't
on
think they've
deaf
said anything
ears.
about a
It
mayhem
can't be
system.
stated
far as
loudly
I'm aware.
enough that the removal of the minimap is absolutely detrimental
just tried
to
to
the
blow up his
overall
cat, bro? What the
experience.
fuck?
This isn't about me being right about the minimap. This is about Gearbox taking away a feature that is extremely valuable for combat and knowing your immediate surroundings and replacing it with a compass system that has too much information, often overlapping one another, never giving any indication of the enemies that just spawned in behind you. Sure, if you have quality headphones, maybe you can hear those spawns, but what about those people with hearing disabilities? So I enjoyed what I played. I didn't get to play anywhere near enough to have a solid opinion about the game, and I didn't have enough time to explore the openness of the world to my satisfaction. However, I still had fun, and I think that's important. We all had the opportunity to do co-op on this build as well. I want to let people know why there's no co-op footage. We had the opportunity to do co-op, but we weren't allowed to actually capture co-op gameplay, so most of us opted out of that in favor of obtaining as much footage as possible so we could share that with you guys. Speaking of footage, I want to thank Moxie, Jolts Dude, Birdman, Lil Gas Mask, Eruption Fang, Legacy Gaming, and Rest Assured for all teaming up to pool their footage with mine so we can give you guys the best range of footage possible given the limitations on time that we had. I linked all their channels in the video description below, so make sure you subscribe to them on YouTube. Just a few developmental tweaks. It's possible to fix these issues, and I hope that they make this the absolute best Borderlands game that we've ever had. You can now pre-order Borderlands 4 using the link in the video description below.
Yeah,
Big
definitely
thanks again to
sponsored
2K
video.
for
The fact that they both had said that in their video. All right, let's see this late game. This is supposedly late game gameplay.
Today, the embargo has finally lifted.
This feels quiet. Is this quieter?
About the higher level Borderlands 4 gameplay that I got to do. This was a.
Do I need to turn this up, or are we good?
Vault
Okay, I'll turn it
mission.
up.
Now, vaults are a new thing in Borderlands 4. Obviously, we've had vaults in other games, but they function very differently in Borderlands 4.
Let me know how that sounds.
Now, the way that these are going to work is you like find vault fragments out in the world, and then eventually with those fragments, you can build a key, and that key gives you access to a vault, and a vault is like a dungeon. Now, to be clear, these dungeons, these vaults, are not endgame content.
Yeah, this looks fucking sick.
So this is like something that you can do at level 20, which is when we did it. Obviously, you could do these and repeat these and farm these at endgame, but they kind of assured us that endgame, it's got its own thing going on. And so this is some higher level gameplay, higher level content that was actually really intense. Now, I've seen a lot of comments about our like level 5 gameplay, where like people were saying that the world felt empty or the like enemy density felt low. That is all answered in these vaults. They are packed with enemies, that there is like a unique mini boss in these that have a unique mechanic that you'll see me try to figure out and tackle. And then at the end of the vault is a vault boss. Now, one of the big things that I had, because I knew that I was going to be able to interview the devs before or when I got to this event, and one of the questions that I had was, how are you guys, I'll actually read it from my phone. Bosses are a big part of the Borderlands experience. However, most of Borderlands 3's bosses didn't have enough health to survive a fraction of the damage we were able to deal at endgame. What steps have you taken to make bosses more engaging at endgame without making players wait behind artificial progress gates like immunity phases? I think immunity phases were a big issue in Borderlands 3, and I wanted to see in Borderlands 4 them to come up with more clever and creative ways to make engaging bosses.
Bro, Borderlands people just built different. Can you imagine if I walked into a Bungie interview and I was like, hey, can you add what the community thinks is artificial difficulty, please? I'd get fucking roasted for asking that question.
Bosses without us having to wait
Yes,
behind
Hex.
immune phases.
Or yes, Cody,
And
sorry,
I
fuck.
didn't ask them that
It
question
should be, yeah.
after I played this vault.
There's literally no way. I would be fucked if I asked that question, man.
And fought this boss because, and I said this to the devs while I was there, this is the best boss fight that I have done in a Borderlands game ever.
What?
I promise you I'm not glazing. Your opinions might differ, but in my opinion, this was the most engaging fight that I've seen in a Borderlands game that had the most interesting mechanics and answered the question of how do you make an engaging boss that even if you're doing a ton of damage, you still have to engage with mechanics.
What are the most... That's a great question, though. Did Borderlands 3 end up getting raid bosses? Hex... Or fuck me, dude. I don't know why I keep doing that. Cody, thank you for the sub. What? I think Tiny Tina's raid bosses probably had the most engaging mechanics that I can think of to date. There is a sub badge as well. There is a sub badge as well.
Now, this boss fight had a lot going on, and I'm going to play you kind of my raw footage of fighting this boss and figuring out the mechanics, because it took me a second, but once I got the hang of it, it just flowed so well. The boss was challenging, the mechanics and the playstyles were interesting, it incorporated movement really well, and it just kind of made me really excited, because if this is the design of a boss that they have, that they're throwing at us at level 20, I can't wait to see what more they can come up with like endgame bosses and stuff like that. Now, the other part of this vault was that once you beat it, and you're done, you kill the boss, you get the loot, there is something really crazy that you can loot
thank you,
at the
Scarab,
end
for gifting
that
us
we'll
up.
talk about when we get there. And then you could also redo the boss fight again. Like, there was a Moxie's Encore machine, and if you wanted to run the vault again, you could just click it. You didn't need to exit the vault.
That's so
You
fucking
didn't need
sick,
to save,
bro.
Quit. You would just beat the boss.
Okay, so but
quit
how
the
do we
mission,
feel about
it would
that?
Reset. You'd start from the beginning. and
Because
you'd
I
run
feel
it.
like there could be save quitting essential to the farming experience. What do we think? What do we think?
And I could see myself literally
No,
doing
I don't
this
think
for
so.
hours.
I don't think so at all.
Gear. It did remind me of a little bit like a Malawan Takedown, but in like, you know, a little bit more condensed version. And I thought that it was fantastic. So I am going to let the rest of the gameplay play out, particularly the boss fight, and then I will meet up with you guys back when we are done with the boss, because I want to talk about the upgrade.
Things do seem
you get,
really
or the
tanky.
thing that you get once you beat this for the first time, which is really crazy, and then we'll kind of like, you know, do a little outro.
1535. Snaky boy? The boss design? Inceptus, Primordial Garden. The boss design in this game has been, just from the things that we have seen, has been unreal. Every model looks so unique. Like, they did a fantastic job. So this seems like it'd be the equivalent to like a
to watch you at your end.
The equivalent to like a strike boss or something. This is not a raid boss. I'd probably be shooting the green sack on his shoulder personally. Yeah, he gets it. He gets it. He heard me say it. Oh, you can grapple to the boss? What? No, grapple that shit. Grapple. Oh, what the shit? No, shoot the green things. Shoot the green things. Shoot the things in the sky.
I do hate to get the bastard in that direction.
Bro, he's getting wrecked. I would not stand under it. I think that's a bad move. Shoot the things, yes! Yes, there we go. Okay. Okay, so the mechanics, once again, not really like huge mechanics, but they're required to move around, use the new movement system, actually shoot and aim and move at the same time, like, good stuff. It's so weird seeing new people learn about mechanics. It's really interesting watching people learn about mechanics that I don't know, because everyone has such a different way of approaching mechanics like this. Although, I mean, these seem very surface level, but compared to like Destiny, but still, like, my way of approaching this is way different, and I almost get a little anxious, like, why are you not doing this? That's not a mechanic. It's a crit shot. It's a crit spot to shoot. It's not a difficult like Destiny style mechanic, but it is still like a part of the fight that requires you to do something unique that is different from other fights, right? So in like a lot of games that are not as complex as a lot of Destiny, it would be considered. We're just a little spoiled. We're a little bit. Oh, yo, these grimy times. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. We're just a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to this sort of stuff. I like how much shit's going on at the same time here, though. Scare understands the vaccine anxiety. Yes. But compared to like previous Borderlands bosses, like this definitely seems like on the tier or like on the level of like Tiny Tina raid bosses, which is crazy considering this is not a raid boss. This is just like a strike boss. I'm wondering if there's more. I find it very interesting that this is his favorite fight in the franchise. There's only so much you can expect from one player versus 6. I think there are plenty of examples of soloable bosses in Destiny that are more complex. Just not every game is Destiny though, which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a reason like Borderlands probably has like more widespread appeal, in part due to a lack of incredibly complex mechanics at base level activities like this.
You will serve. We have need of vault hunters, and you have need of the vaults and their power.
I was expecting, when he said that it was his favorite fight in the franchise, I was expecting a little more. It's nice to see. I think that's cool that they're adding stuff like that as essentially as strike bosses and Borderlands versions of that. Just based off of that, I definitely wouldn't say it's the most interesting fight.
I feel stronger.
So yeah, that was the vault
in Borderlands. Personally, I would say even a lot of Borderlands 2 raid bosses had. Borderlands 2 bosses don't really have very many mechanics. I guess like Master G did, and is that it? Did any of the other raid bosses for us? This was just shoot. I think all the other raid bosses were just shoot and kill, unless I'm missing one. But you know, I would definitely put the Tiny Tina raid bosses above this, especially the what was the actual ghost Tiny Tina called? Tiny Tina's Wonderland raid boss. What was her name? the Maker. I think the Maker is still a lot more interesting than that, but this is not an end game boss. So I think that excites me. I just find it, my comment is on the fact that he said that this was his favorite boss in the franchise, which I find very odd. But it's still nice. It's good. I think it's a great setup for what Borderlands 4 has to offer end game wise, and I think that's personally really exciting. It's my understanding that all Borderlands raid bosses were stuff like this. More simple than that. Like if you think about like some of the most famous Borderlands raid bosses, Terramorphous, Hyperius? Who dropped the Northfleet? Was it Hyperius? Was that his name? They're usually just like they have attacks that you have to dodge, but like it's really just running around. Yeah, Cromarax is another really good example. Like not really any mechanics, just like real bullet spongy. So but crazy how these devs can make unique models and enemy races without complaining and excuses. That is one thing that Borderlands does very well that I think Destiny could really learn from. Destiny enemy variety does a lot of times feel like just absolutely pulling teeth and before we get anything. Whereas I feel like Gearbox is everything is fucking. There's 12 variations of psychos in every game. You know what I mean? Like they just crank out enemy creativity and heterogeneity. I don't know like what's the best way of saying that. Their enemies are always like really fucking. They have a wide variety of things to fight in a cool way. We got Coral Vex. Yeah, that's what I kind of mean. Like I don't know like what the difference in workflow is or mentality or what, but it is really nice to see in in Borderlands. So yeah. So all in all, man, I'm pretty excited for Borderlands 4. It comes out in just over 3 months. We're gonna be putting a lot of time into it on stream for sure. And now that Marathon got delayed, I'll probably take the first day. What day of the week is that? September 2025 calendar. It's the 13th. Wait, is it coming out on Friday? September 12th? Oh, fuck. I could have taken it off. Drops Tuesday? What? According to this calendar, September 12th is a Friday. Oh, okay, we're good. Okay, yeah. So I'll definitely, I imagine this drops at night, and I'll go and I'll play this all fucking night. I'm excited. How do you go about making content for a whole new game? Is there a bunch of other people also making content? Yeah, so I start off just by streaming it, and then it's just like if it captures me in a way where it's just like I feel like I want to express myself creatively by making some sort of video, then I do. It's really just as simple as that. Because this is just a hobby, a lot of it is just kind of vibe based. It's like, oh yeah, fuck, I'll do it. And that's why like, I've made Borderlands videos for Borderlands 4, but they're like solving ciphers and stuff, because it's like I solved the ciphers and I'm immediately like, oh, I want to share this with people. I want to show people how I did this and explain it, that sort of thing. So it's just kind of, I just get kind of a vibe, you know? Anyways, really excited for this. This is awesome. We're going to end stream here soon. So if you want the exclusive badge over on Twitch, make sure you gift a sub here in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, I think this is really fucking sick. I think they've done a really good job here with the marketing and what we've seen of the game so far. Gearbox is absolutely killing it. And it seems like it has incorporated a lot of feedback from all the community, over the last 5 games. I think that's really awesome. As far as I'm aware, we don't know how long the campaign is. So, all right, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you all. Tomorrow is Sunday. Probably some Destiny farming stuff. We'll see. Still need to farm out some armor. So probably be doing that. Everyone, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you.